Hi again, everybody, from Goss Stadium at Coleman Field on the campus of Oregon State University in Corvallis, along with Knight Uretsky, Casey Lavin, Thomas Rudolph, and Garrett Dworshak back in our studios, or Dale Hummel. I'm not quite sure, but we'll get confirmation at some point, I hope. This is Mike Parker welcoming you to Game 2 of the three-game West Coast League South Division Series between the Corvallis Knights and the Springfield Drifters on a warm, breezy, clear, beautiful AQI in the mid-teens evening in the Mid-Valley. Gorgeous night for baseball. Wilson Motors night. The Bending Twins will be throwing out our ceremonial first pitches here in a moment. It is a real pleasure to be back here in Goss Stadium at Coleman Field for the first time since fireworks night on the 2nd of July, when the Knights, in a thrilling game, defeated Cowlitz, and then 3,302, thrilled to the pyrotechnical display beyond the left center field fence thereafter. Last night, the Knights had some explosion of their own offensively, hitting 2 home runs in a 9-0 victory in Game 1 of this series over the Drifters. Well pitched by Sean Weiss, and some big-time offensive production, a grand slam from Ethan Hedges, and a 2-run home run from Tate Shamau, who is starting to find his stride, his swing, and make a big impression here after a slow start. 2 for his first 25, has come to life the last couple of ball games. Coming up on our Knights live stream pregame show, I had an opportunity to sit down with Tate a little while ago and learn the journey of this young man from Honolulu, but comes to Oregon State by way of a couple of different stops along the way in his high school career, his original plans in terms of where he was going to play college ball, and how he has ended up as a fixture for Larry Lee in the outstanding program at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. So coming up, we will meet Tate Shamau and get his story and talk about the controversial nature, even have skipper Brooke Knight weigh in impromptu on his thoughts about the bizarre nature of the Shamau homer last night. That's all coming up. We're glad you've joined us. Mike Parker. I'll be joined later by Knight Uretsky, the voice of the Drifters. Thanks for joining us. Tate Shamau next after this 2-minute timeout on the Knights live stream and 1240 Joe Radio. Back at Goss Stadium at Coleman Field, the Corvallis Knights and Springfield Drifters, Game 2 of the series. The Knights taking the opener in a big way last night, 9-0, and a lot of things to really like in the game. Defense, pitching, but some power shown by Ethan Hedges with a grand slam, and my guest Tate Shamau with a long 2-run home run that had a little bit of mystery and controversy to it. Was it over the fence? Was it stuck in the fence? So we'll start there with Tate and then learn a little bit more about this outstanding young man who's really starting to swing it well here with the Knights. Tate, good to see you. Let's start there, though. You hit it well. That was clear. What did you kind of see or feel was going on during that play?
At first, I thought it was like just a fly out, but the ball kept carrying, obviously, and then I saw him jump into the wall, and I thought he caught it, so I like kind of stopped running, but then I saw Coach waving me on, so I was confused, so I just kept running, scored at home, and then I wasn't sure, but it was a home run, so...
So at least you're honest enough to tell you didn't see the ball clear. You were running out of the box and really just had to wait until they sorted it all out. Have you ever had any kind of weird play like that where it took a long time to settle, whether it's a home or a double or an out?
No, that was the first time anything ever happened like that. So,
well, your skipper's right here. I'm going to just ask you can confirm. Brooke, have you ever had a play quite like that in your life?
No, not that I remember. That was unique.
Yes.
That was unique, but I'm glad they got it right, you know.
And they did get it right. Ultimately, we had a little ball gate going on with Brooke asking for the ball. That's a BP ball or whatever, not a game ball. So it all got sorted out. But back to square one, you squared that thing up. It may have carried a little bit, as you said, but that must have felt pretty good coming off the bat. Huh?
Yeah, it felt good. Finally, first, game I actually felt comfortable in the box and getting back to what I normally do, so it just felt good to finally be back on track, hopefully.
Didn't that start a little bit in the game at Cowlitz? You got a couple of hits there, then you come down and followed that up with the game last night. I mean, what do you see kind of going on with you? You said maybe after a little bit of a slow start here, what's starting to happen for you, Tate?
I'd say it's more mental than anything, kind of just getting my mind right and just doing what I do instead of trying to create too much or do too much.
Well, it's been fun to watch and really exciting to see all of you guys last night, as I said, play at such a high level. Did that look and feel to you guys like who you can be here down the stretch of this second half?
Yeah, definitely. I think, we have a good team. Everyone's super talented, so just going out there, competing and having fun, and it's definitely, who we could be more often.
Tate Shamau, my guest. Tate, I mentioned, will tell a little bit of your story. It's an interesting one, it looks like to me, in that you grew up in Honolulu, went to high school, Iolani in Honolulu, and then finished up, though, at Rancho Cucamonga in Southern California. Could you take us through a little bit of just how you kind of came to that?
I was originally committed to the University of Hawaii, and then the coaches got fired, and it was around the time of COVID, so it was hard to travel out of Hawaii without having to quarantine. So I decided that it was best for me to have my career to live in California. So I decided in a month to move up to Rancho Cucamonga, and then within 3 months of living there, I got an offer to USC, committed there. And then going into the summer, of my freshman year of college, coaches get fired. The recruiting coordinator at USC got the job at Cal Poly, and the same day that he took the job, I committed an hour later. So I was grateful for him bringing me there, and I couldn't ask for a better place to land at.
What was your first spring, and what was the season like this past year? You started a lot of games, played a lot, hit pretty well, it looks like, just looking at your numbers. Was it a good experience for you?
Definitely, as a freshman coming in, definitely had my struggles, and it's definitely a good experience. Right now, struggle a little bit in the beginning. Hopefully, I start to turn it up a little bit. So just keep on getting those experiences of failure and how to deal with it for my future.
Tell me about the opportunity here and what you've liked about the Corvallis Knights being part of this organization.
Just being around great people, great players, and great coaches. I feel it makes you want to work harder and do more. It's just a blast to be here and playing baseball with great people around you. Can't ask for anything better.
Final thing, and I want to ask you a little bit about in your bio on the Cal Poly website, hobbies, one of them is surfing. So did you grow up surfing a lot in Hawaii, and have you sampled the surfing in Northern Cal in the Cal Poly area? Did you sample it in Southern California at all? I mean, did you take your board with you?
I've definitely like growing up didn't really do much, but then because COVID, that's when I really like was able to surf more. But then now as things are back to normal, it's kind of hard to get out there, and the California water is definitely too cold for me. Yeah.
Well, if you think that California's cold, a lot of people I know surf the Oregon waters, but I'm telling you, I don't know if you've ever been in the Oregon waters. They are very cold. Have you been to the coast yet over here?
Not yet.
Okay.
No.
Well, get the wetsuit if you're going to try surfing in Oregon. That's all I can say. Tate, it's a real pleasure to meet you and have you with the Knights. Thanks for taking time. Good luck the rest of the summer.
Thank you. Pleasure meeting you too.
Tate Shamau, my guest on the Corvallis Knights live stream. We've got Game 2 coming up. The starting lineups in the first pitch. The Knights and Drifters, with the Knights trying to win the series here tonight in Game 2. Wilson Motors Night. It's great to have you with us. The Knights in Springfield coming up on a gorgeous evening for baseball on the Knights live stream and 1240 Joe Radio. Back at Goss Stadium at Coleman Field, Jacob Wright loosening up with Anson Arrows for the Corvallis Knights and getting ready to face the following lineup as announced by Drifters head coach Tommy Richards. Leading off and playing center field, Cole Kleckner. Batting second at shortstop, Ben Newton. Bobby Blanford hitting third in right field. The cleanup hitter at first base, Charlie Updegrave. Batting fifth at second base, Ryan Cooney. Hitting sixth, the designated hitter, Ryan Hayes. Batting seventh in center field, Reed Kellum, Reed Kellum batting seventh and catching. Cole Calnan batting eighth at third base. Jason Shedlock batting ninth and left. And Rylan Hyder on the mound for the Drifters. For the Knights, it's Jacob Wright. And Jacob goes to work on the left-hand hitting Cole Kleckner and starts him with a strike, and we're underway. The quick working southpaw Jacob back to the plate, and strike one fastball just outside. 1 ball and 1 strike to Cole Kleckner with Ben Newton on deck and Bobby Blanford to follow. Jacob Wright back to the plate with a 1-1 pitch. That misses for ball 2, and it could be the beginnings of not necessarily a beautiful friendship, Claude Rains and Humphrey Bogart. Louis, could be the beginnings of a long night. The 2-1 pitch, ball 3, 3-1. So it's been established here through the first 4 pitches that the zone is tight. I've seen many a West Coast League game where the batter would be rung up and back in the dugout by now on similar pitches. The 3-1 pitch is ball 4. So I don't know if it's Tim Montoya's work back of the plate, if it's just a little bit off for Jacob Wright, but whatever the case, it is an exacting, difficult zone that, at least for the first batter, has been established by Tim Montoya. Clint Baxter is the base umpire. And Jacob Wright with a walk after throwing a first pitch strike. Everything else was not to the liking of Montoya. Now the right-hand hitting Ben Newton at the plate. Wright kicks and delivers, and Newton swings and fouls it at the plate. No balls and 1 strike. Jacob out of Paso Robles High School, Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. Missed all of last year. It's an important summer for him. Missed all of the spring season. No summer ball last year either. So Jacob, after missing all of 2022, coming back and getting back in the swing of things this spring for the Mustangs, appearing in 8 games, going 2-1 and pitching 18 2/3 innings with 30 strikeouts. He delivers high to even the count to Newton at 1 ball and 1 strike. The 1-1 pitch is grounded through the 6-hole into left field for a base hit. Levi Jones gathers the ball off the turf in straightaway left. Kleckner stops at second. And Springfield, after getting stymied last night in a similar situation as they were 24 hours ago. 2 on, nobody out in their first inning. And that's when Sam Sturr was taken out of the ball game with a little bit of a shoulder issue. And enter Sean Weiss. Weiss came in, put up a 0, inheriting first and second, nobody out, and ended up getting the win, with the Knights taking game 1 10-0. Springfield giving itself an opportunity again in the first inning here at Goss tonight with 2 on and nobody out, and the left-hand hitting Bobby Blanford at the plate. Bobby takes a strike, 0-1 the count. Jacob back to the plate and misses in the turf. 1 ball and 1 strike to Bobby Blanford. For the Knights defensively, Jacob Wright and Anson Arrows the battery. Ethan Hedges at first, Tate Shamau at second, Tai Yukamoto at short, Mason Lee at third, Levi Jones in left, Ethan Hott in center, J.C. Ing in right. Fastball way outside, ball 2, 2-1 to Blanford. So Springfield already putting a little bit of pressure on the Knights starter, Jacob Wright. With 2 on and nobody out, a count of 2 balls and a strike. Jacob making his 3rd start, his 4th appearance. He's worked 9 1/3 innings this summer. 9 hits, 6 runs, all earned, 7 walks and 6 strikeouts. The 2-1 pitch is waved at and missed. And the count even to Blanford at 2 balls and 2 strikes, with Charlie Updegrave on deck in a league that has more left-handed hitters than I ever remember seeing. Charlie, another left-handed hitter on deck. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Blanford. 2 on, nobody out. The 2-2 pitch outside, ball 3. And a big pitch early in this game right here for the left-hander Jacob Wright. Wilson Motors night at Goss Stadium at Coleman Field. We'll be back in Springfield tomorrow for the series finale. The Pickles in town on Friday. It'll be bat giveaway night Friday night and Corvallis Knights cap giveaway night on Saturday. So we hope you are planning on coming out this weekend. But first things first, the Knights in a bit of a jam here in the top of the first inning against Springfield. A throw to second base. Back to the bag goes Cole Kleckner. The 3-2 pitch lifted foul off third. Mason Lee has a look. This carries into the upper grandstand above the Jack Riley concourse on the left side. The count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes to Blanford, with Cole Kleckner at second, Ben Newton at first, and nobody out. Knights left-hander Jacob Wright comes set. Glances back at Kleckner, comes to the plate, 3-2, and that's hit foul to the left into the stands. I hope everybody's okay over there. That one does hit a fan in her left hand. And the whole family there. Looks like mom and dad and a couple of kids looking on. She's shaking her hand in some pain, but it looks as though she's going to be all right. Another 3-2 pitch coming to Bobby Blandford. Wright delivers ball 4 to load him up. That's a very good plate appearance for Blandford.
Now batting, number 31.
He kept fouling off pitches, and eventually, with the pressure on Jacob Wright to keep throwing strikes, Blandford wins the battle. And the bases are loaded with nobody out for the pride of Oak Ridge. Charlie Updegrave. Updegrave standing in at 250. He has a homer and 3 runs batted in. Springfield on the season has hit only 3. The Knights have 8 home runs this summer, including 2 last night in Springfield. But Charlie Updegrave not necessarily thinking home run, but at least trying to get the ball in the air to get Cole Kleckner home from third. Right to the plate, Charlie takes outside, ball 1. Ansoneros went out to visit with his battery mate. We may see Bo Kearns pop out if ball 2 ensues here. With the bases loaded and nobody out, Springfield looking to get the jump in game 2. With a count of 1 ball and no strikes, the pitch to Updegrave, a strike, and the count 1-1. Big pitch for Jacob Wright. Springfield here in the first trying to do something the Drifters were not able to throughout the ball game last night. A 10-0 Knights win, namely score. Updegrave swings at the 1-1 breaking ball, doesn't get it, and the count 1-2. And Jacob Wright, while yet to really show a level of command on his stuff, still, in his mind, has a chance to get out of this. He's ahead of Updegrave, 1-2. Ryan Cooney on deck, a right-handed hitter. Bases loaded, nobody out. The 1-2 pitch, got him swinging. Off speed, down and away, and Charlie Updegrave strikes out for the first out of the ball game. And that brings Ryan Cooney to the plate for the Drifters. Ryan at 260 with 4 runs batted in. Bases loaded and 1 out. The breeze is blowing out noticeably towards left center field. The ball carried pretty well to left last night in Springfield. Right to the plate, and the first pitch misses inside to Ryan Cooney. Ball 1, 1-0. We'll be back tomorrow in Springfield for a 6:35 game. Hope you'll join us, and I hope some of you would consider driving down. It's an easy drive and a really enjoyable ballpark to watch a game in. The 1-0 pitch in the turf to Cooney for ball 2, 2-0. No score in the top of the first inning, but the Drifters certainly threatening to change that. With the bases loaded, nobody out. 1 out. The 2-0 pitch, a strike, a throw back to first with Ethan Hedges breaking in to receive the back pick attempt. Not in time to get Blandford. But Ansoneros likes to flash that arm. It's a good one. And Ethan Hedges not able to get the runner, but a nice try by the Knights and a big pitch made too to run the count to 2-1 to Cooney. Ryan Hayes, the designated hitter, on deck. The 2-1 pitch is in there. Strike 2, 2-2. The voice of Yoongjin Yoon rising up out of the Knights dugout. You could hear him up here, pleased with the location of the pitch. And last night in Springfield, his voice very noticeable too, as the Knights put a hurt on the Drifters. A 2-2 pitch is swung on and missed. Strike 3, 2 down. Ansoneros pumps his fist toward his battery mate, who again pulls the string for his second straight strikeout. 2 down, and Ryan Hayes, the batter, with the Drifters trying to make sure they don't squander a huge opportunity early. Bases loaded, nobody out. Now bases loaded and 2 out for Springfield. Hayes at 200 with a run batted in. Out of the stretch, works right, delivers inside, ball 1 to Ryan Hayes. 1 ball and no strikes the count. Ryan out of Seattle Prep and attending Seattle University, began his career at Yakima Valley College. The 1-0 pitch in there for a strike, and the count 1-1. Paul Blackburn arriving looking very nattily attired in some new Knights gear. That's new stuff, isn't it? I haven't seen that on Paul before. That hat looks like he got the Knights cap before the fans will get him this Saturday night. The 1-1 pitch swung on and missed on the off-speed delivery, and the count 1-2. And Jacob Wright threw it all as a strike away from getting through it with a 0 on the board. Cole Kleckner at third, Ben Newton at second, Bobby Blanford at first, 2 down. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Ryan Hayes. Jacob Wright trying to get out of it. The left-hander ready, kicks and delivers outside. Ball 2, 2-2. A leadoff walk to Cole Kleckner, a base hit for Ben Newton, a walk to Blanford, putting Wright in appeared to be a world of hurt. And now he's a strike away from getting out of it. But the bases do remain loaded with 2 down. The 2-2 pitch on the way. Got him swinging. The pitch was in the turf. Ancinero steps on the plate for the force. And the left-hander, Jacob Wright, loads him up, then comes back to strike out the side. And the Drifters leave 3 at the end of half an inning. Springfield nothing. We'll give you the Knights starting lineup when they come back to bat against Ryland Hyder. No score to the bottom of the first on the Knights live stream and 1240 Joe Radio. How soon? Well, wasn't able to hear a cue. Sorry about that, everybody, as we go to the bottom of the first inning. How soon? Well, very soon and very soon. I think Andre, anyway. Bottom of the first inning. That's a throwback. J.C. Ing leads off in right field for the Knights. No score. Springfield left the bases loaded. Ing swings and hits one to left center field, but Cole Kleckner almost dropped it. A routine play. And that can of corn almost popped open on him. But Kleckner stays with it for the out. 1 gone. Tyler Quinn, the designated hitter, the batter. Let's take a look at the Knights lineup. Bottom of the first. J.C. Ing leading off in right field. Tyler Quinn at the plate now in the 2-hole, the designated hitter. Ethan Hedges batting third at first base. Rylan Hyder, former Corvallis Knight, delivers low and inside, ball one. 1-0. Helped the Knights win their 6th straight West Coast League championship last year, now trying to beat them here in this ballpark. Delivers to Tyler, fastball swung on and missed. 1 ball and 1 strike the count. No score, bottom of the 1st inning. Springfield loaded the bases with nobody out, and then Jacob Wright struck out the side. Hyder back to the plate with a 1-1 pitch, down and away, ball 2, 2-1. Hyder getting the start against his former team, his 7th start of the summer, 29 innings, 32 hits, only 7 walks, 24 strikeouts, a record of 1-2, an ERA of 5.27. Quinn hits it sharply by Ryan Cooney into right center field for a base hit. Quinn takes a big turn. Kleckner does drop that ball, but does prevent Quinn from picking up an extra base. Kind of an uneven start defensively for Kleckner in center, in that he nearly dropped a routine fly ball off the bat of Ing, and then a routine single into right center field, hugging the artificial turf. Kleckner moved over to his left and kind of kicked that around a bit too, giving Quinn a notion about trying to advance. Tyler, though, stays put with a 1-out single. Ethan Hedges, the batter. Hyder delivers off speed, swung on and missed. 0-1 to Ethan. Hedges with a grand slam home run last night to left. That put the Knights up 5-0, and they were on their way to a 10-0 win, a 5 RBI game for Ethan. Quinn hopping away from first and drives Rylan Hyder to distraction. Rylan steps off the rubber. No balls and a strike as the breezes pick up. They're blowing out towards left center field after a mid-80s day here in the Mid-Valley. The pitch to Hedges, a ground ball towards the hole at short, fielded by Ben Newton. He goes to Ryan Cooney for a force at second, the only play available. Hedges aboard on the fielder's choice, 6-4. 2 down, and Anson Arrows will come to the plate. Good crowd coming in on this Wednesday night, Wilson Motors night. Fans have been dropping by at their leisure throughout this summer to pick up free tickets at our friends at Wilson Motors at 5th of Buchanan in Corvallis. And it looks like we'll have a crowd, I would guess, over 2,000 here tonight. Anson Arrows, the batter. And the first pitch is off speed and high, ball 1 to Arrows. No score, bottom of the 1st inning. Arrows at 200, playing in his 12th game with the Knights, a homer and 7 runs batted in. The switch hitting catcher awaits, and the 1-0 fastball swung on and missed, and the count 1-1. The switch hitting catcher made his first appearance in an all-star game last night. Our own Adley Rutschman, former Knight, former Beaver, lined out. Well, what an experience for Adley and his family. They spent the day back home in Sherwood today. The pitch on the way to Arrows, blasted to the alley in right center field. It'll get down off the top of the fence on a bounce. Ethan Hedges rounding third and will score. And at his second base with a booming double goes Anson Arrows, and the Knights lead it 1-0. Good swing on the part of Anson Arrows, drilling the ball into the alley. That's one of the best swings he's had in his still rather small sample size with the Knights this summer. Crushed the ball into the gap, and fortunately for the Knights, the ball did not hop over the fence. It would have been a ground rule double instead with runners at second and third. But with 2 outs, Ethan Hedges on the move, able to score easily. And Arrows picks up the run batted in. The Knights with a 1-0 lead. Tate Shamau had a controversial home run last night that we talked about in our pregame show. Tate takes a strike in the count 0-1. Fastball from Rylan Hyder is high and inside. And that evens the count at 1-1. Knight Uretsky said he talked to Bobby Blanford, the center fielder, who made the leaping try. And Bobby just simply admitted after this today, when Knight, whom we'll hear from later, pitch is pounded foul at the plate, and the count 1-2. Knight can elaborate however he wants, but Blanford did say no, the ball cleared the fence. But it was a great effort by Blanford. Went crashing into the fence. And thank you, Paul. And we just were all wondering, and even the Knights players and coaches wondered, if the ball Shamau hit had been caught, whether it got lodged behind a sign out in center field. Apparently neither. The ball went over the fence. Shamau swings and fouls it back, and the count 1-2. 1-0 Knights in the bottom of the first inning. Hanson Arrows with a 2-out run-scoring double. Now he gets his lead from second. Out of the stretch works Rylan Hyder. Glances back at Arrows, who hops away from second. The 1-2 pitch is lifted to left field. Shedlock fighting the sun. Shields it. Finds the baseball. Moves in to make the catch to retire the side. The Knights pick up a run on 2 hits. No errors and a man left. We go to the second inning. The Knights 1 and Springfield nothing on the Knights live stream in 1240 Joe Radio. One nothing Knights as we go to the top of the second inning. The first pitch, a chopper wide of first, fielded by Ethan Hedges, and he gets the ball to Jacob Wright covering. Reed Kellum offering at the first pitch, and it's a 3-1 putout on Reed, 1 away in the top of the second. And Cole Calnan will be the hitter for the Springfield Drifters. Springfield with a big threat in the top of the first inning, loading the bases with nobody out, but then Jacob Wright seemed to reach back a little bit and got it done with 3 straight strikeouts. The pitch to Calnan is in there for a strike, 0-1 the count. The strike 1 fastball from Jacob misses high. 1-1 the count. Cole out of Snohomish and attending LCC South, Lane Community College. We had to refer to LCC North and South when in Longview this past weekend. The pitch is in there for a strike to Calnan, and the count 1-2. Jacob, the southpaw, kicks and comes to the plate. A ground ball towards third. Mason Lee up with it. Throws across to Ethan Hedges. Does a little dance around the bag, but firmly puts his right spike on it for out number 2. And Jason Shedlock will be the hitter. The Knights picking up a run in the bottom of the first inning. Now with 2 down and nobody on, Shedlock to the plate, the 9-hole hitter for Springfield, and again a left-handed hitter. He takes a strike and the count 0-1. Not much data on Shedlock on our roster, so I'll see if I have anything. If not, he swings, and it's a chopper towards third. It's a tough sun for Lee. He fields and throws out Shedlock for out number 2. A young man out of Tate Shamau country, Rancho Cucamonga, California, where at least Tate finished up his senior year at Rancho Cucamonga High. A 1-2-3 frame for Jacob Wright. And while the 3 strikeouts were exciting to end the first, I'm sure he prefers the second, an economical, efficient frame. And at the end of 1.5, the Knights won, and Springfield nothing on the Knights live stream and 1240 Joe Radio. Levi Jones, Ethan Hott, and Mason Lee in the bottom of the second. 1-0 Knights. The first pitch from right-hander Rylan Hyder misses to Levi. Levi swings at the 1-0 pitch and drills it into right center field for a base hit. Cole Kleckner plays it on a hop. Nice start for the Knights to the second inning. Levi Jones with a solid single, and Ethan Hott will be the hitter. Levi starting the night at 244 with 5 runs batted in. A stolen base threat at 3 for 3. Ethan Hott, 297 with 15 runs batted in, steps in. Rylan from the stretch delivers a first pitch strike to Ethan. 0-1 the count. Clear, pleasant evening. The AQI, as I mentioned earlier, in the teens all day long. A magnificent day. A throw to first base and Levi Jones back. And the fans are coming out to enjoy the cool of the evening here in big numbers, as befits a Wilson Motors night and a Knocking Point Wine Wednesday evening here at the ballpark. The strike one pitch to Ethan misses high. 1 ball and 1 strike the count. Back in Springfield tomorrow, and then home to the Portland Pickles this weekend, as the Knights try to find some rhythm, hit their stride, get back to the level we've grown so accustomed to and perhaps even been spoiled by through the summers. It's a level that the team has shown flashes of here in 2023, but hasn't been able to get into a real consistent groove. They hope that that can change, beginning with a 10-0 win last night, leading this one 1-0, trying to add on to it here in the second with Levi Jones at first. The 1-2 pitch to Hott, a ground ball through the 6-hole into left field. Base hit. Jason Shedlock gets the ball back in. Ethan Hott with a ground single to left. 2 on and nobody out. And Mason Lee will come to the plate. That double last inning by Ancinero short hopped the ball out in right center field. The All-Pro Property Services banner. If your home or office or investment property needs some attention, well, family-owned All-Pro Property Services can help you, as they've helped thousands through the years get the best out of their properties. Hyder ready to go to Mason Lee, who shows bunt, pulls the bat back, and takes high and inside. From investment, renovations, facility services, housekeeping, and move-out cleans, All-Pro Property Services has the bases covered. Visit allproproperty.net for more information. 2 on, nobody out, 1-0 Knights. Mason's not bunting, and he pops it up, and that's why Coach Knight often has players bunt. The infield fly rule is invoked. The shortstop, Ben Newton, makes the catch, kind of bailing out Cole Callan, who seemed to lose the ball on the way up, and with the sun directly in his eyes. So shortstop Ben Newton had a little bit better angle on it, came over and made the play. And now Brooke Knight writing a note to himself. Not necessarily a song of himself or a Norman Mailer-esque advertisement of himself, but it is a note to self. And it may have something to do about, okay, this is, you guys wonder why we bunt so much? Well, I had an example of why in the second inning. Mason Lee popping out. One away, Tai Yukamoto the batter. Tai takes a strike from Rylan Hyder. 1-0 Knights in the second. Levi Jones at second. Ethan Hott at first. Or it may have had to do with just something that he picked up. Brooke, great attention to detail. And it's not for nothing that he has that notebook and really helps develop his players season in, season out. That was the message that we learned from Mason Lee himself, who fouls one to the left, or pardon me, Tai Yukamoto, who fouls one to the left and out of play. Mason Lee on a check swing. Yukamoto did not go, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. In the inning, Levi Jones a single to center. Ethan Hott single to left. Mason popped out, and now Tai Yukamoto with a count of 1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 on and 1 out. Knights leading 1-0. Awaits Rylan Hyder. Rylan to the plate, and the breaking ball bounces down and in. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hyder peering in to Reed Kellum. The left-hand hitting Tai Yukamoto awaits. Shortstop Ben Newton darts in back of Levi Jones, the runner at second. Hyder comes plateward, and it's lifted foul by Yukamoto down the left field line into the lower grandstand. The count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hyder appeared in 5 ball games for the Knights last summer, and a contributor indeed to the 6th straight West Coast League Championship. Fastball to Yukamoto taken. Strike 3 called. 2 down. J.C. Ing, the batter. J.C. flied to center field last inning. Starting the night at .225 with 19 runs batted in, and tied for the team lead in stolen bases with 9. The left-hand hitting J.C. Ing awaits Rylan Hyder, comes to the plate. The first pitch fastball in their first strike. 0-1 the count. The breezes have really picked up, continuing to blow out towards left center field. Under the lights in this early evening sunshine, a breaking ball hits J.C. Ing to load him up for Tyler Quinn. So Tyler with a chance to do some big-time damage with 2 down, the bases full. Tyler single to center field last inning. Levi Jones at third, Ethan Hott at second. J.C. Ing at first with 2 down. Hyder from the stretch comes to the plate and misses. High and inside to Tyler, ball 1, 1-0. Rylan again from the stretch and comes back to the plate. Good breaking ball in there for a strike, and the count 1-1. In the modern era, our young broadcasters have tools that I never even conceived of, nor did anyone dream of back in the day. But he pointed on his highfalutin screen. That was a 15-inch break on the breaking ball. Knight uses the tools well. A ground ball to third. Cole Calnan fields cleanly and throws across to get Tyler Quinn. So both teams have left the bases loaded. The Knights come up empty in the second. No runs, 2 hits, 3 left at the end of 2. The Knights 1 and Springfield nothing on the Knights live stream and 1240 Joe Radio. Cole Kleckner leading things off here in the top of the third for the Drifters. The first pitch from Jacob Wright missing. Jacob comes back with a 1-0 pitch. Good breaking ball for a called strike, and now the 1-1 pitch swung on and missed, and the count 1-2. Kleckner drew a walk to open the game and was on base with 2 other Drifters, and it appeared as though Springfield will get an early jump on the Knights. Bases loaded, nobody out. Wright came back to fan the side. He misses to Kleckner, does Jacob, to even the count at 2-2. The lefty back to the plate and misses again to Kleckner. 3 balls and 2 strikes, 1-0 Knights, top of the third inning. Jacob working quickly, comes 3-2. Breaking ball, just missed for ball 4. And that's another good plate appearance for Cole Kleckner. Drawing ball 4 after being down in the count at 1-2. Ben Newton, the batter. Ben grounded a single to left field in the first inning. The Knights infield at double play depth. Jacob Wright out of the stretch, delivers a ground ball to third, fielded by Lee, goes to Shamau for 1, and there is the double play. Around the horn, 5-4-3, 2 down. Nicely done. Mason Lee, Tate Shamau to Ethan Hedges, and that'll bring to the plate Bobby Blanford, the center fielder last night, playing in right field tonight. And boy, Bobby made a great effort trying to pull back a home run hit by Shamau. Crashed into the fence. I was worried about him. We all were, that he might have been injured. Good to see him back in the lineup today. A little sore perhaps, but something there is that doesn't love a wall. The strike 1 pitch just outside, and the count 1-1. That would be the human body perhaps. I'm not sure if that's what Frost was thinking of, but he might have been. The 1-1 pitch on the way in the turf, ball 2, 2-1. 1-0 Knights, top of the third inning. Knights CEO Dan Siegel will be along here shortly for a surprise visit. I mean, it'll be a surprise, I think, during the course of the visit, what it's all about. It's not a huge surprise if I'm telling you he's coming. The 2-1 pitch is in there for a strike and the count 2-2. But I think, again, to coin a phrase, you'll understand hereafter. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, nobody on. 1-0 Knights in the third. I'm expecting Dan at least here soon. The 2-2 pitch on the way from Wright, a check swing on a breaking ball. And the appeal was late and without great conviction on the part of Ansoneros. No swing. And the count 3-2 to Blanford. 2 outs, nobody on, a 1-0 Knights lead. The left-hander ready, and the 3-2 pitch taken just outside ball 4. Tim Montoya not really getting into the spirit of things tonight in terms of ringing people up with close pitches, and he's been fair to both teams. But that pitch was just a little bit outside, and so 2 walks in the inning. The double play ball could perhaps keep Jacob out of serious trouble. Charlie Updegrave, who struck out in the first, swings and misses here. No balls and 1 strike the count. First Alternative Co-op is your community-owned grocery store. It's been providing fresh, local, and organic groceries since 1970. The strike 1 pitch to Charlie, good block by Anson Arrows. Arrows throws down to first. Bobby Blanford gets back. The First Alternative Co-op makes it easy for you and your family to buy local and eat healthy. Be sure to stop by their deli, enjoy their fresh brewed coffee, house-made pastries, their delicious salad bar, and much more. Everyone is welcome at First Alternative Co-op. There goes Blanford. The pitch is low. Arrows' throw on a hop is not in time. Blanford is in with the stolen base. Tough pitch to handle, and Arrows did a good job to even give himself an opportunity to field cleanly and throw. Blanford picking up just his 3rd stolen base of the summer. He's been caught 4 times. He has a chance to get the game even with a 2-out hit. Charlie Updegrave does, with Blanford at second. The 2-1 pitch, that's a wild one, gets by Arrows, and Blanford into third. Bit of a mixed bag in the inning for Jacob Wright. A leadoff walk, followed by a double play. Another walk, stolen base, wild pitch. The tying run 90 feet away. Blanford looked as though he might want to pull an Ellie De La Cruz there for a moment, kind of creeping down the line with Jacob Wright, his back turned to the plate, walking back up the hill. That's something we probably won't see again in 2023. The 3-1 pitch to Charlie Updegrave swung on and missed. 3-2 the count. Updegrave out of beautiful Oak Ridge up Highway 58. Mark Canham here tonight, Mitch's dad. The 3-2 pitch got him swinging again on the breaking ball in the turf. The tag applied by Anson Arrows, and the inning is over. Now, we may or may not see Dan. That's my commitment to you. We'll see what happens when we go to the bottom of the 3rd. The Drifters leave the tying run 90 feet away. And at the end of 2.5, the Knights 1, Springfield nothing on the Knights live stream and 1240 Joe Radio. One nothing Knights as we move to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Ethan Hedges, Anson Arrows, and Tate Shamau against Springfield right-hander Rylan Hyder. The first pitch to Ethan in there for a strike. The 0-1 pitch on the way from Rylan. Swung on and lifted to right center field and playable for Cole Kleckner. Cole moving over a few steps to his left to grab it, one away, and Anson Arrows will come to the plate. Anson walloped a 2-out double into the right field power alley back in the first inning to produce the game's lone run, scoring Ethan Hedges, who had gotten aboard on a fielder's choice. I am not sure that Dan, he may have forgotten. We talked before the game, so I'm just going to go ahead and say it, and if Dan has time to come up a little bit later, we'll do it. But the Knights CEO told me today, and we want to give a shout out to a great Corvallis Knight, a 2-time champion with the Knights, a tremendous young man, Spencer Scott, recovering from surgery today. Spencer, hang in there, man. I know it was needed, from what I understand. The pitch on the way to Anson Arrows, a strike, and the count 1-1. But Dan was thinking of you and wanted to give you his own personal greetings and thank yous on the air tonight. And he may drop by later and share his thoughts about his affection for you and your family and what a great young man you are. And so we wish you well. I know these are the early difficult days recovering from surgery, but it'll get you back on the field again, and another big year with the Pilots next spring. Spencer Scott, great night listening and recovering back home. We're thinking of you. The 1-2 pitch to Anson Arrows misses outside, ball 2, 2-2. So that is why Dan was going to come up. That was going to be the surprise nature of the message. But if his schedule has gotten a little too busy here in this big crowd on this Wednesday night, we'll let him say what he wants to say a little bit later. But for now, Spencer, we're all thinking about you and pulling for you. The pitch to Arrows is swung on and missed. Strike 2, 2 down. And Tate Shamau will be the hitter. Shamau flied to left field in the first after blasting a 2-run home run over the left field fence last night in the Knights' 10-0 win. Hyder's curveball swung on and missed, and the count 0-1. Might have been a change on the first pitch with a lot of downward drop from the right-hander Hyder, working in the bottom of the third inning. Kicks and comes back with the 0-1 pitch, a ground ball to short, fielded cleanly by Ben Newton. He throws to first, and the inning is over. Knight Uretsky, the voice of the Drifters, will be along in a moment. We worked together last night in Springfield and will again tomorrow. It'll be our pleasure to listen in tonight. And again, he has all the great modern day tools at his disposal, so you'll get a lot more clear and better information as we go to the fourth. Through 3, the Knights 1 and Springfield 0 on the Knights live stream and 1240 Joe Radio. Through 3 innings at Goss Stadium at Coleman Field, the Knights 1 run, 4 hits, and no errors. Springfield, no runs, 1 hit, and no errors. Going to work Jacob Wright here in the fourth, and for the play-by-play, the voice of the Springfield Drifters, Knight Uretsky. Knight.
Thank you, Mike. 1-1 the count to Ryan Cooney, the second baseman today, 0 for 1 with a strikeout swing, and the 1-1 pitch from right, grounded towards the left side. Cutting it off at third is Mason Lee. His throw across the diamond gets Ryan Cooney for out number 1. Going to be Cooney, who you just saw, coming up, followed by Ryan Hayes and Reed Kellum. Those are batters 5, 6, and 7 in the Springfield Drifters order. 1-0 the score. Corvallis leading here in the top of the 4th inning. Here's Ryan Hayes, the DH, who struck out swinging with the bases loaded back in the 1st inning. Springfield squandered the bases loaded, nobody out back in the 1st inning. They were unable to score, and they trail by 1. First pitch to Ryan Hayes, high and away, 1-0 to the Seattle University product. Jacob Wright so far just 1 hit allowed back in the 1st inning. It was a no-out single by Ben Newton. Since that point, he's settled in and has done a great job on the mound. Throws a strike to Ryan Hayes. 1 ball, 1 strike to the DH today. Hayes got the start behind the plate yesterday as he cranks the ball towards center field. Going back a few steps is Ethan Hott. He circles under it, squeezes the mitt for out number 2.
At the plate, number 23, Reed
2 gone, nobody on, and here's Reed Kellum, the catcher. Kellum was unable to play yesterday, was doing class in the middle of the press box all the way up until about the 1st inning. He's taken 1 class this summer at Tulane University. It's a computer science class and basically eliminates him from Tuesday games as he takes the pitch inside 1-0. Asked him about that class today. He said he learned a lot, was excited to be there. Just 13 kids in that class, and he's the only athlete in there as he takes the pitch outside 2-0. In fact, he was telling me he's the only athlete at Tulane University, at least on the baseball team, football team, and men's basketball team, that is in the computer science department. 2-0 to Kellum. He takes a strike on the outside part of the plate. 2 balls, 1 strike to the catcher, who's 0 for 1 with the ground out to first. 2-1 pitch from Wright. A little bit low and inside near the ankles of Kellum. 3 balls, 1 strike. Springfield so far today just 1 hit. They've been struggling at the plate. The 3-1 bounces in, and that's a 2-out walk for Reed Kellum.
now batting, number 8, Cole
Springfield has been held scoreless in now 3 of their last 4 WCL games. They exploded for 26 runs during the non-league play, but their last 4 WCL games haven't really gone their way. Just 1 victory was on the 4th of July, and that was the only firework so far in the past week or so for Springfield. Here's Cole Calnan, 0 for 1 with the ground out to third. Runner at first, 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. Wright turns to the plate, the first pitch outside. Hanson arrows the catcher, able to squeeze the mitt. And it's 1-0 to Cole Calnan. Calnan in those non-league games got a start on the mound, a 2-way player from Lane Community College. 1-0 outside, it gets past arrows the catcher. Heading to second on the play is Kellum, and the Drifters have the tying run in scoring position here in the top of the 4th. Drifters this season with 2 outs and runners in scoring position just hitting .207. They do have 35 total RBIs. So Kellum moves over to second after the pass ball. Calnan looking to drive in the game's tying run. 2-0 the count. Wright looks to second to the plate. Here's the pitch. Outside, 3 balls, no strikes, and with 2 outs, seems like Jacob Wright's struggling to find the zone here. Calnan, a .256 hitter entering today. One of the original Drifters from the first week of the season. The 3-0. Taken for a strike right at the letters. 89-mile-per-hour pitch right there from Jacob Wright. 3 balls, 1 strike. Callan's first start in the field in a week. Went 0 for 4 on July 5th. The 3-1. Fouled back 3-2. Count is full, 2 outs and a runner at second. 1-0 Corvallis with the lead here in the top of the 4th. Jacob Wright, the starter today, looking to keep it that way. Yesterday, Sean Weiss, 5 innings pitched with 5 strikeouts, a lefty for the Knights. Did a great job against the Springfield order. And the lineup for Springfield has struggled against lefties this season, hitting just .205. 3-2. Called strike 3. That's strikeout number 5 for Jacob Wright. Strands Reed Kellum at second after the walk and wild pitch. We now head to the bottom of the 4th inning. 1-0 Knights with the lead here on the Knights live stream and 1240 Joe Radio. Bottom of the fourth inning, 1-0 Corvallis with the lead here on the Knights live stream and 1240 Joe Radio. Levi Jones, Ethan Hott, and Mason Lee due up. Batters 6, 7, and 8 in the Corvallis Knights order, facing off against the former Knight, Rylan Hyder. The right-hander from Washington State University settled in the third inning, had a 1-2-3 bottom of the third. Looks to continue his success here in the fourth. First pitch to Levi Jones, down and away, 1-0. Jones so far a single. He was left stranded at third back in the second inning. Up for the second time today against the righty in Hyder. Hyder winds, the 1-0 pitch. Jones thought about offering, did not. It's called a strike. 9 inches of horizontal break that time for Hyder. That's 1-1. Levi Jones heading into his freshman year at Oregon State, came in hitting .244, picked up his 12th hit of the season back with that single. Just gets a piece of this one on the 1-1. Fouled it off right at the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Levi Jones, the 6-foot, 185-pound incoming freshman from Portland, Oregon. Hyder winds, the 1-2 pitch on its way. Grounded softly towards the right side, up the first base line. Right of the chalk it goes, a foul ball, and we'll do the 1-2 again. Rylan Hyder came in with a 5.27 ERA, just 1 run allowed through the first 3 innings for Hyder. Last start for Rylan was debatably his best performance of the season. Through 5 2/3 against Cowlitz, allowed just 1 earned run on 6 hits with 3 strikeouts. Did get the loss in that one, but Springfield didn't score. It was a 1-0 loss in the series finale against the Cowlitz Black Bears. 1-2 to Jones. Bounces in, he did not offer. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Tim Montoya, the home plate umpire today. Clint Baxter, the field umpire. Springfield defensively remaining the same so far. Updegrave at first, Ryan Cooney at second. Ben Newton, the shortstop. Cole Cowan, the third baseman. Jason Shedlock in left field. Cole Kleckner in center field. Bobby Blandford, the right fielder. And behind the plate's Reed Kellum. The 2-2 pitch to Jones. Bounces in one more time from Hyder. And the counts run full. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Levi Jones. Wind continues to gust out towards left field. 10 miles per hour wind towards the east. Beautiful day here in Corvallis in the mid-Willamette Valley. The 3-2 pitch from Hyder. Lined hard on 1 hop to the second baseman Cooney. He fields and throws to first and retires Levi Jones for the first out here in the bottom of the fourth inning. 1-0 Corvallis leading. And it brings up Ethan Hott, who also singled back in the second inning. He was left stranded at second. The Knights were threatening back in that second inning, bases loaded, but they left them all on the pond. And here's Ethan Hott. Hott, the center fielder today from Stanford University. A couple of Pac-12 players facing off against each other here in the WCL as Hyder misses high and tight, 1-0. Hott from Stanford, Hyder from Washington State. We could see this matchup later on this upcoming season. The 1-0 to Hott. A little bit low, 2-0. Ethan Hott yesterday went 1 for 4, scored 2 runs with an RBI against the Springfield Drifters. Swinging a maroon bat, matches the Knights maroon across his chest. The 2-0. Hit towards left field on a line. It's a hard hit ball that goes near the wall. Shedlock dives and it gets past him. Picking up now is Kleckner is tapping on 2 and heading to third on the play is Hott. The relay well behind the slide of Hott. And it's a 1-out triple and the Knights are threatening here in the bottom of the fourth. Corvallis came in with just 3 triples on the season, and that's number 4. It goes to Ethan Hott, his first triple of the season. And now Alan Embry is going to go talk things over with his starter in Rylan Hyder. Embry took a break from the team this past week during the non-league play. First had to go tend to his mom, who's up in the Dalles. She ended up in the hospital, so he was tending with her. And then he went up to Seattle for the All-Star break. Got to talk with a lot of former players that he played with. Had a great time up in Seattle during the All-Star weekend. And now he's back with Springfield. Was with the team yesterday. Had a couple of mound meetings a day ago. And today he's back. Big smile on his face, but right now he's talking things over with Hyder, trying to settle him down. Hard to see from our vantage point here at Goss Stadium and Coleman Field, the bullpen situation. Nonetheless, though, Hyder's going to stay out there. Normally that's how it goes for the Drifters. Alan Embry likes to go out there and just talk things over with the pitcher. Coach Richards normally the one to go out there and take the ball. Runner at third, one out. Here's Mason Lee. 1-0, Knights leading. They're threatening here in the bottom of the fourth. Lee 0 for 1 with a pop-up to the shortstop, Ben Newton. Hyder working out of the stretch with the runner at third. First pitch to Lee. Misses the zone, 1-0. Mason Lee tried to show bunt his first time up, couldn't get the bunt down, then swung away and popped it up in the infield. Probably should have tried to bunt it. He advanced those two runners into scoring position. 1-0. Comes in a strike from Hyder, answers right back, and it's 1-1. Knights this season hitting .277 with runners in scoring position. They have a total of 145 RBIs this season with runners in scoring position. This is a team that hits efficiently with those runners in scoring position. Hyder gets a swing and a miss from Lee, and he gets ahead 1-2. Mason Lee out of Cal State Northridge, a returner for the Corvallis Knights. Hit .270 a year ago. The 1-2. Slapped hard off the foot of Updegrave at first. It pops in the air. Cooney gets it and flips it to Updegrave, who gets the foot just in time to get the batter and lead. But sprinting down from third and coming in to score is Ethan Hott. And it's now 2-0 Knights here in the bottom of the fourth. The infield was playing in, specifically the corners with Updegrave, and it went right off his shoe. It wasn't the hardest hit ball, just 78 miles per hour, but when you're playing in at the first base spot, that's pretty hot coming right at you. Right off the toe, and it was kind of a relay right back to Ryan Cooney. Maybe a 3-4-3 you could call it, as here's Ty Yukamoto, who swings at the first pitch he sees, pops it in the air to center field, playable for Kleckner, who squeezes the mitt for the final out. The Knights strike on the triple and then RBI ground out by Mason Lee. We head to the fifth inning, 2-0 Corvallis leading here on 1240 Joe Radio and the Knights live stream. Top of the fifth inning, 2-0 Corvallis with the lead after the RBI ground out by Mason Lee in the bottom of the fourth inning. Jacob Wright, his day is over. 4 innings pitched, 1 hit, 0 runs, 4 walks, and 5 strikeouts for the left-hander from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. And here's Neil Feist now from Cal State Northridge. First pitch to Jason Shedlock here in the top of the fifth, misses away, 1-0. Shedlock, Kleckner, and Newton, batters 9, 1, and 2 in the order for Springfield against the new pitcher, Feist, from Torrance, California. 1-0 to Shedlock, bounces in, 2-0. Shedlock so far 0 for 1 with the ground out to third. Neil Feist today comes in with the 8th best ERA in the WCL. 3.24 is the ERA. 1-1 is the record with 17 strikeouts through 25 innings. Misses high to Shedlock, and it's now 3-0 to the Cal State San Bernardino product in Shedlock. 12 walks for Feist this season, the 3-0. And that right there is number 13, misses high and away, unable to find the zone on the first 4 pitches. And the leadoff man's aboard for Springfield in Shedlock. Brings up Cole Kleckner, who's walked twice himself today. Runner at first, nobody out. Feist comes in for the first time in 4 days, picked up the win against Cowlitz on the 8th. Through 2 innings, allowed just 2 walks to the 8 batters he faced. Feist ready at the waist. First pitch to Kleckner. Grounded up the middle. This could be 2. Flipping it to 2 is Shamal. The throw from Yukamoto to first gets the speedy Kleckner. And that's the second time today the Corvallis Knights have turned 2. And now 2 are gone here in the top of the 5th. 2-0 Corvallis with the lead. Brings up Ben Newton, the switch hitting shortstop. Newton grounded into the double play back in the 3rd. Prior to that, a single back in the 1st, so a 1-for-2 day. First pitch, Newton shows bunt, pulls it back, and it's a strike, 0-1. At the beginning of the year, Springfield had a lot of bunt singles. In fact, they were one of the best bunting teams in the WCL, if we could actually find that stat. But we could not, but they were getting on a lot with bunt singles. As Newton lines the ball towards left field. Going back to the track is Jones, who spins and finds it near the wall for out number 3. Leadoff walk for Shedlock, but it was eliminated on the ground ball by Cole Kleckner. 4-6-3 they went before the flyout. 3 up, 3 down they go. We're halfway through this ball game. 2-0 the score. The Knights lead here on 1240 Joe Radio and the Knights live stream. Bottom of the 5th inning, 2-0 Corvallis with the lead. Rylan Hyder returns to the mound for the Springfield Drifters. Hyder winds in the first pitch outside to J.C. Ing, 1-0. Top of the order due up, J.C. Ing, Tyler Quinn, and Ethan Hedges. Ing so far 0-for-1, was hit by a pitch his last time up back in the 2nd inning. One-0 pitch from Hyder. High and away once again, 2-0. So Rylan Hyder, last inning, had a mound meeting with Alan Embry. Settled down, was able to get the ground out and fly out to end the inning. And now starts this 5th inning with 2 straight balls. Ing, the lefty hitter from Pomona Pitzer. 2-0 pitch from Hyder. Taken for a strike, 2-1. Beautiful day for baseball here at Goss Stadium at Coleman Field. We talked a lot about the facility at Hamlin Sports Complex. I definitely like this one. I mean, this is one of the top in not only the Pacific Northwest, but also the Pac-12, as this one sliced foul, 2-2. Hamlin Sports Complex is pretty nice. I would say that these 2 facilities are up there for the top 2 facilities in the WCL. Hamlin a little bit smaller, of course. A little bit newer. The turf I kind of like more at Hamlin, but I love the big trees in the outfield. here at Goss Stadium. 2-2 to Ing. Down and away, 3 balls, 2 strikes to J.C. Ing. Ing, the right fielder today. Yesterday was in the DH position. So gets put into the field. And now has a full count from Rylan Hyder. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch. Taken a little bit low, and Ing's aboard with a leadoff walk.
Now batting, number 5.
Brings up Tyler Quinn. Quinn the DH today. A day ago, he got the start behind the plate as the catcher. He's splitting catcher duties with Anson Arrows. Quinn heading off to the University of Utah next season after spending 4 seasons at Pacific University. Arrows got the start behind the plate today, and Anson Arrows already made an impact. RBI single back in the first inning, put the Knights up by 1. First pitch to Quinn. Comes in a strike, 0-1. Now, Tyler Quinn, he spent 4 years at Pacific University. And surprisingly, this isn't the first time that Anson Arrows has actually split catching duties with a Pacific University catcher. In fact, 2 summers ago, Arrows and Sulak were teammates with the Conejo Oaks in the California Collegiate League 2 summers ago. Now Quinn, he's heading off to Utah, so I guess no longer a Pacific University boxer. Nonetheless, though, splitting time with Anson Arrows. 1-1, runner's going to go. The throw from Kellum to second in time to get J.C. Ing. Beat him before the slide even got there. The pitch missed. It's 2 balls, 1 strike, but now 1 out and nobody on for Tyler Quinn here in this 2-0 ball game in the bottom of the 5th. Quinn, 1 for 2. A single back in the first and a ground out in the second. Hyder settling in. The 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball. Spoiled foul behind the plate. Almost got up over the netting near us. Apparently Mike Parker said that several foul balls have come up here. I'm waiting to catch one. That'd be pretty cool to call my own catch on a foul ball. I'm not sure if Mike's ever done that, but he said a couple of times, so I'm still waiting for my first opportunity. 1-2 to Tyler Quinn. Spoiled foul again, this time over my right shoulder off the building and into the alleyway it goes. 1-2, one more time to Tyler Quinn. Always exciting for these D3 players taking the jump to Division I. Yesterday we saw Sean Weiss, who spent this past season at Hawaii. Spent 3 years at George Fox in D3 prior to that. This one popped in the air towards the bleachers and it goes off the netting, stays on the field. That's another foul ball by Tyler Quinn. So Quinn's battling here in this at-bat against Rylan Hyder. And this again may be a matchup we see in the future with Hyder heading back to Washington State despite the coaching change up there in Pullman. Hyder, the former Knight, winds. The 1-2. Bounces down and away, and it's now 2-2 to Tyler Quinn. Quinn played on the Knights a year ago, and so did Hyder, so these two are former teammates, now opponents here in 2023. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. The pitch from Hyder. Popped foul one more time, and this has been a battle between Tyler Quinn and Rylan Hyder. I'm sure Quinn caught Hyder maybe even in bullpen or either in a game last season. So he knows kind of what Hyder throws. 2-2 pitch. Grounded softly towards the left side. Picking up at short is Newton, who sidearms it to first to retire Tyler Quinn for out number 2. 2 gone, nobody on. 2-0 the score here on the bottom of the 5th inning. Brings up Ethan Hedges. So far today, Hedges reached on a fielder's choice back in the first. Flew out in the third. Righty versus righty matchup. As the first pitch to Hedges. Breaks in for a strike. Nice 78-mile-per-hour slider there for Hyder, 0-1. Hedges, the first baseman today, batting .310 entering the day. The 0-1 bounces in, 1-1. Had that big fly yesterday. Grand Salami, 5 RBI day for Ethan Hedges. His parents were in attendance and a big game for his parents to be there. Obviously, you got to see that big fly. Just the 8th home run this season by the Corvallis Knights. This one bounces in, and it's now 2-1 to Ethan Hedges. Hedges hit 2 home runs down in LA in his first season with the Trojan program. Hit .302, an impressive freshman season. The 2-1. Spoiled foul behind the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Rylan Hyder looking for his second 1-2-3 inning. His first came back in the 3rd inning. Only 2 strikeouts so far. This is a Corvallis Knights team that has the 2nd lowest strikeouts in the WCL. Came in today with just 160. 2-2. Fouled away. We'll do the 2-2 one more time. Fans over to my right were inching at the opportunity to catch a foul ball. Went off the top of the netting. There's little squares there, and I'd say hit about 5 squares too low. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The pitch from Hyder. Breaks down and away, 3-2. Another full count for Rylan Hyder on the mound. This has been a long inning. Numerous foul balls, and this is probably going to be it. Looks like a left-hander warming up in the Springfield Drifters bullpen. 3-2 pitch to Hedges. Fouled behind the plate, and we'll do it again. From my vantage point, I believe it's Bryce Armstrong, the left-hander from Fresno State, warming up. You know that Armstrong's going to be leaving the Drifters program pretty soon, as are a lot of Springfield Drifters. The roster's already starting to turn around. 3-2. Grounded hard to 3rd, picking up his Kalnin. He takes his time, crow hops across the diamond and gets Hedges. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Rylan Hyder on the mound in unique fashion, as J.C. Ing was caught stealing to begin the inning. We head to the 6th, 2-0 the score here on 1240 Joe Radio and the Knights live stream. Top of the 6th inning we go. 2-0, Corvallis Knights leading here at Goss Stadium and Coleman Field. Going to be Bobby Blanford, Charlie Updegrave, Ryan Cooney due up for the Springfield Drifters against the right-hander, and Neil Feist in for his 2nd inning of relief. Had a 1-2-3 5th inning. Forced a double play to Cole Kleckner, and now he gets the meat of the order, starting with Bobby Blanford, who's walked twice today, stolen a bag, but has yet to score. Springfield still scoreless, just 1 hit overall, as the first pitch to Blanford breaks in 1-0. Now, the last time I was here with Mike Parker, we told a story about my dad listening to Bruce Coburn on the way. And coming to the ballpark today, as Blanford pops this one in the air towards the left side of the field, drifting towards the dugout of Corvallis. It's caught by Ansoneros as it just sliced its way back into play. And it's a pop-up for out number 1, brings up Charlie Updegrave. Updegrave 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts, but on my way to the ballpark today, I'm a big fan of Jerry Garcia, Robert Hunter, and the Grateful Dead. And so I turned on my Grateful Dead channel, And playing was Jerry Garcia's band's cover of Bruce Coburn's Waiting for a Miracle. And I'll tell you what, I'm waiting for a miracle here today for the Springfield Drifters as Charlie Updegrave takes the first pitch inside 1-0.
Well, last night, and thank you for that, that's one of Bill Walton's favorite songs, clearly, and so I got Bill to become a fan of Coburn, mainly because Coburn wrote that song, Waiting for a Miracle, that Jerry covered. He goes, Coburn wrote that? Okay, again, and Bill Walton started to ask me all about Bruce Coburn, so we made a fan out of him.
It's a great song. 2-0 to Updegrave. Comes in a strike, 2-1. I just felt that it was fitting coming to the ballpark today, hearing that, and I'm definitely waiting for a miracle from
Well,
Springfield.
I appreciate that. Last night would have been, though, more miraculous. You came back down 10-0. You're only down 2-0 here. You're just thinking about a win over the Knights would be miraculous?
Well, I'd say, A, winning over the Knights would be miraculous, but B, scoring a run would be miraculous at this point after being shut out 3 of the last 4 games. And, scoreless through the first 5 here. 3-1, Updegrave launches it in the air, high towards center field. Playable, though, for Ethan Hott. And now he's lost it, dives, and it drops down. Updegrave's heading to second. The sun got a better of Hott.
Yeah.
And, man, at second is Updegrave. He gets a break.
The sun and the wind, I think, Knight. And Ethan's had a couple of times this summer where trying to make the adjustment to the conditions, which are tough. You can see the sun shining in his glasses. Now it's tougher in left field right now, I would think, at this hour. But the angle, the wind, you can see the trees blowing out in center field. They are not the best of conditions. It looks like you're going to have a pinch runner, eh?
Yeah, Jaden Shepard's going to come in. Shepard listed as a first baseman. We've seen him a lot at right field, but comes in for the first baseman, Updegrave. A little bit quicker of a runner at second now. They're with 1 out, and here's Ryan Cooney 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out. Feist working out of the stretch. First pitch to Cooney, grounded hard towards shortstop, deep in the hole. Picking up is Yukamoto. His throw a little bit high, but staying up on the bag and making the catch is Ethan Hedges for the second out. Keeps Shepard at second, and with 2 outs, here's Ryan Hayes. Hayes 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a flyout today. Springfield overall, 5 strikeouts. Springfield had the 4th lowest strikeout rate in the WCL entering today, but yesterday struck out 10 times, and today another 5. Runner at second, 2 outs. 2-0, Corvallis leading. Feist looking for another scoreless inning as Hayes sends the ball in the air towards left center field. Hott dives, and it drops down in the alleyway. That's going to score Shepard from second. Hayes is digging for 2. Picking it up in center field is Hott. Hayes is looking for a triple. The throw from Yukamoto to third in time to get Hayes. Hayes was hustling around, legging it out, trying to get to third, and he's out on the connection from Ethan Hott to Yukamoto. The tag applied by Mason Lee, and that'll do it for the top of the 6th inning. Couple of hits for Springfield bring in the first run of the game for the Drifters. 2-1 the score as we head to the bottom of the 6th here on 1240 Joe Radio and the Knights live stream. Bottom of the 6th inning, I finally got that miracle I was waiting for.
Yes, you did.
Springfield able to score on the RBI double for Ryan Hayes. He was thrown out at third, trying to stretch it to a triple, but a phenomenal defensive play by the Corvallis Knights kept it at just the 1 run in the inning. It's 2-1 as we begin the bottom of the 6th inning. Rylan Hyder, his day is over. 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts for the right-hander in his return to Corvallis. And this paves the way now for Bryce Armstrong, the lefty from Corning, California, who just wrapped up his first season at Fresno State, a transfer after spending a year at the University of Washington and a year prior to that at Butte Community College. Anson Arrow is going to be leading things off, the catcher. Switch hitter, batting on the left side of the plate as a right-handed hitter this time. Swings and fouls off the first pitch he sees. 0-1 from Armstrong. Armstrong comes in for the 6th time this season. 1-2 is the record with a 5.00 ERA. 9 innings pitched, 11 strikeouts to just 2 walks for this lengthy left-hander. Arrows goes swinging and missing, chasing a ball down and away from Armstrong. That's 0-2. Armstrong has a heck of a slider that has a lot of movement. It was working at the beginning of the season, has tailed off a little bit recently, hoping to get back on track. 0-2 to Arrows. Thought about offering. Kellum points to first, and saying he did not go was Clint Baxter, the field umpire today. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Anson Arrows. Arrows the RBI double back in the 1st inning, a strikeout swing in his last time up. Armstrong, the 1-2 pitch, called strike 3. Arrows normally has exceptionally good plate discipline, but that time takes the called strike 3.
Number 10.
First strikeout for Armstrong, 12th of the season. Always a big strikeout pitcher. Had 4 strikeouts his last time out against Cowlitz in 2 scoreless innings back on July 5th. That was a week ago. And now faces off against the right-handed hitter and Tate Shamau. First pitch to Shamau, down and away, 1-0. So Shamau hit that controversial home run yesterday we were talking about. Bobby Blandford, the center fielder, now in right field today, said it definitely went over the wall when I talked to him as Shamau cuts through it 1-1. Blandford said that slamming against the wall was exceptionally painful. Showed me today he had bruises and scars from the chain link fence scraping him as the 1-1. This is inside, 2-1, and he said he'd rather be hit by a fastball right at the ribs than slam into the fence yesterday.
Yeah, you could tell he was worse for wear, and I was worried. It was such a weird play because you didn't know what to look at. The injured player, where's the ball? It was a really strange play. Brooke Knight said he'd never seen anything quite like it. I'm glad Bobby's back in the lineup today.
And he seemed to be okay. Finished out the rest of yesterday's game and gets a little bit of a break from center field at least in right field today. Not much action there. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch to Shamau sailed high and away. Armstrong lost the grip on that one. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Shamau. The second baseman from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, his teammate Jacob Wright, got the start today for Corvallis, who threw 4 scoreless innings, allowing just 1 hit and 5 strikeouts. Shamau aboard with the walk as that pitch missed from Bryce Armstrong. 1 runner on, 1 out, 2-1 the score. Knights leading here in the bottom of the 6th.
Brooke Knight did tell me that after the play last night, Shamau's homer, that the ball that got dislodged from a sign adjacent to the one that the ball went over, that somebody within the Drifters dugout brought a baseball out that was a practice ball, a BP ball, as we had speculated, not a game ball. But it was the very ball that had been found out on the warning track in left center. So I think everyone in the Drifters dugout was being honest about the whole thing, which is good to know.
They were absolutely being honest. Right. And obviously with Blandford saying, oh, yeah, it went over the wall, I'm sure they're going to succeed that one as Levi Jones fouls it away. 1 ball, 1 strike to Levi Jones, 1 for 2 today.
But that's not a given in the great game of baseball and all the chicanery and skullduggery and the stuff that goes on, people trying to hide balls or, at least, I appreciate Tommy Richards and his team being forthright about all of that.
Armstrong looks to first to the plate. The 1-1 swung on and missed by Levi Jones. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Kellum's going to go talk things over with Armstrong. Maybe a little bit of miscommunication between the two.
Good looking pitch, but you're right, it may have crossed up Reed Kellum. All of that to say, you know, I mean, bats can be hidden. You know, there have been all kinds of games. You know, don't let them see the bat. Now, I'm hoping that we're not dealing with something now as you've got a visit to the mound going on, that we hope we don't have something that we encountered last night with Sam Sturr, who left after 2 batters, not feeling quite right. So you've got the battery, the catcher, and Tommy Richards out there with your left-hander, Bryce Armstrong. I hope Bryce is okay. I'm not quite sure what this is all about here.
I'm not sure either, and there is a lefty warming up in the Springfield bullpen right now.
And here comes Michaela, who is the athletic trainer for the Corvallis Knights. So, unfortunately, it looks as though something for Bryce Armstrong Knight is not quite right, and they want to get him checked out. That's always the best plan to if there's any doubt, if there's anything. And here comes Alan Embry too. He might join the conversation, but I hope that now it's the catcher, interestingly enough, that Michaela's talking to. Your catcher, Reed Kellum, not Bryce Armstrong.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I know that Kellum earlier on was dealing with a little bit of a hamstring, not injury, but something that was nagging him in that hamstring area. He got up immediately and headed towards Armstrong, and now they're tending towards him.
Okay,
wow.
This is, again, you don't see this. Last night we saw something we've never seen. I'm not sure that I've never seen a catcher taken out mid-inning. I have for different reasons, but this was really odd. We assumed that it had something to do with Bryce Armstrong, but unfortunately, Reed Kellum has walked off, and during that time, apparently you had another catcher getting some gear on or coming out of the bullpen getting ready to come into the game.
Yeah, it's Griffin Bushnell, who was actually just signed to the team yesterday. He's from Walla Walla Community College, originally from Willamette High School in West Eugene. And Bushnell got put into the game yesterday, had 1 at bat. It was for nothing, was hitless in the game, and now comes in.
Bushnell as in the university?
Yeah, except he doesn't go there.
He should.
I know, that's what I said.
Yeah.
I actually came in, I said, Griffin Bushnell, Coach Richards, you got to sign him. I mean, the NIL is right there for him. And I'm not sure what kind of NIL is in NAIA, but nonetheless, Richards said he recruited him. He opted to go to Walla Walla Community College instead. And Bushnell, he's been with the team for now his second day and gets put into the game. Yesterday he struck out at the plate and now gets put in as a defensive replacement here in the bottom of the 6th. 2-1 the score. Corvallis leading.
He will have a little time now, Will Griffin, to take some pitches from Bryce Armstrong. With the Knights leading 2-1 here in the 6th. Mike Parker, honored to be joined by Knight Uretsky here tonight. I will be down in Springfield working alongside him tomorrow night. While we have an opportunity, still waiting for the official attendance to be announced, but it appears to me to be in that 2,000 range. It might be the second largest crowd of the season. When you come to Corvallis to catch Knights baseball, we encourage you to stay at your locally owned Best Western Corvallis, the official hotel partner of your Corvallis Knights. It's close to Goss with the largest hotel rooms in the city and an outdoor heated pool. Wherever life takes you, Best Western is there.
So a tough one for Reed Kellum. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Levi Jones as Griffin Bushnell comes in behind the plate. Runner at first and Tate Shamau, 1 out. Armstrong looks to first, comes to the plate. Jones pops it in the air towards the left side of the field. Shedlock moves a few steps towards his right, backs up a few, and makes the catch in left field for out number 2. Shamau retreats back to first. 2 are gone here in the bottom of the 6th. Brings up Ethan Hutt, who tripled his last time up. First triple of the season for Ethan Hutt, and just the 4th triple overall on the season for Corvallis. They came in tied 11th in the WCL in total triples, and Ethan Hutt raised them a little bit in that WCL order.
A quick note on that, I conferred with the official scorer, Brooks Hatch, and he actually it was not a triple, it was a double E7.
Wow.
Yeah, a tough error, I agree. It was a tough play. The ball was hit well, but it goes double E7.
0-1. Hutt takes. It's a strike. 0-2. I'm a little bit surprised.
Yeah.
It seemed like Shedlock was just diving in the alleyway trying to stop the ball. He missed it. I don't know if that credits an error if it didn't hit his mitt.
I understand what you're saying. But, you know, the official scorer rendered his decision that way.
No balls, 2 strikes to Ethan Hutt. Pitch from Armstrong, fouled off at the plate. We'll do the 0-2 again. So with that, Ethan Hott gets his 4th double of the season. And Corvallis adds on to their double lead. 6th in the WCL entering today, 44th now on the season. Runner at first, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2-1 the score. Knights leading. Armstrong in for his first inning of relief. 1 strikeout, 1 flyout, and 1 walk so far. The 0-2, down and away, 1-2. Again, Armstrong, a heavy strikeout pitcher. Heading back to Fresno State next year, back with the Red Wave, who had a really great season in terms of attendance down there in the Central Valley. Armstrong ready, the 1-2 pitch. Hott goes down swinging. Bushnell applies the tag, and that'll do it for the bottom of the 6th inning. 2 strikeouts for Armstrong in relief, and we'll head to the 7th inning with the Knights leading 2-1 here on 1240 Joe Radio and the Knights live stream. Mike Parker will take you the rest of the way. It's been an honor getting to work with Mike Parker here on the Knights live stream and 1240. We'll see you on the other half of the inning. Mike Parker, you can go ahead and take it.
Okay, thank you. Back after this through 6, the Knights 2 and Springfield 1. Back in the 7th after this on the Knights live stream and 1240 Joe Radio. Through 6 innings at Goss Stadium at Coleman Field, a big night, Wilson Motors night. A good crowd will get the official attended soon, but through 6, the Knights 2 runs, 5 hits, and no errors. Springfield 1 run, 3 hits, and 1 error. The Knights turn to Ethan Collins, trying to bring this second game of the series home after winning 10-0 last night at Hamlin Sports Complex. A much different kind of game this evening. A tough 1-run affair as we go to the 7th. Ethan Collins is the new pitcher for the Corvallis Knights. Griffin Bushnell, who suddenly was thrust into the game last inning when Reed Kellum had to leave with some sort of injury, will lead things off for the Drifters. He'll be followed by Cole Calnan and then Jason Shedlock. Anson Arrows out for a conversation with Ethan, who's making his 7th appearance. He's worked 13 innings, 6 hits, 8 earned, 13 walks, 11 strikeouts, a record of 0-1, an ERA of 5.53. And control has been the biggest issue for Ethan. He hopes to be able to harness his good stuff here against Bushnell and company in the 7th. The 1-0 pitch here, slashed foul down the right field side, and the count 1-1. We're in the 7th. Earlier I mentioned that we hope to visit with Knights CEO Dan Siegel at some point tonight. Dan has been extremely busy, helping in all areas as always, working a concession stand earlier when we thought we might be visiting with Dan in the 3rd. So Dan, I've already let the cat out of the bag a little bit with respect to the why and the wherefore of your visit, but I said it would be important to hear from you about a great young man. The 1-1 pitch, a line drive base hit to right field for Bushnell. So Bushnell in his first at bat with the Drifters, a base hit. He's the tying run. Cole Calnan, the batter. And that is Spencer Scott. I've given him a shout out, but I know you care about what a great young man.
Yeah, Spence is gosh, he's one of our guys. You know, he's a neighborhood kid and coached him for a long time. Great player, great instincts. great human being, great family. Just
A bunt up along third and a good one by Calnan, charged by Mason Lee. Lee with a good play, throws out Poole.
that was a Spencer Scott-like play.
It
right
was
there.
a Spencer Scott-like
played,
play.
with the Knights last couple summers. Played shortstop, third base. Good defender. Just wanted to, give him a shout out. He just had labor and hip surgery, and he's going to be on the mend, and it's going to be a key part of the Pilots' future.
Yeah, I'm sure that there's a certain degree of not only pain and discomfort, but uncertainty to go through a surgical process as he has. But you know him well enough.
Yeah.
He'll work through to the
will.
rehab and be ready to go. Right?
He loves the game. He's got a passion for it, and he'll. Rehab is not a lot of fun, but it's no pain, no gain. He'll be back, and the Pilots are better with him in the lineup.
The 1-0 pitch missing high and away, ball 2.
And we miss him here this summer.
Yes, we do. And certainly, though, it was exciting the other day, Dan, to see both of your sons pitching in the same game. That's got to be great for you. We'll see that again probably at some point. But beyond all of that, the 2-0 pitch missing low, ball 3, 3-0 to Jason Shedlock. I think you and Spencer, who knows of what the championship feel is like, kind of want to see this group this year begin to find its way into a. We've seen flashes of greatness. The 3-0 pitch is low for ball 4. So Ethan Collins does issue a walk. 2-1 Knights in the 7th. 2 on, 1 out. Some activity will begin in the bullpen.
Yep.
Cole Kleckner will be the batter. But you know what I'm saying, Dan? You've seen 9 championships since you brought the Knights here. This team is still kind of finding its way, it seems.
It is, and you guys like Spencer and Caden, they played together at Grant High School. They're championship-like players. Their senior year, they were the #1 ranked team, finished in the top spot, only lost 1 ball game all spring, and they've been key parts of this summer club with the Knights, and they're winning ball players.
Kleckner, a ground ball to short. Yokomoto to Shamau for 1, on to first, not in time. The throw gets by Hedges. The throw to the plate, safe, says the home plate umpire Tim Montoya. Brook Knight will argue it, but the tying run scores. Griffin Bushnell coming in to score. I thought he was out at the plate, Dan, and I'm a little surprised at the call. The throw to first got by Hedges. Ethan did a great job to scramble after it. Throw to Ansoneros, who came back with a sweeping tag. But Tim Montoya says safe, and the game is tied at 2.
You love the reaction of the fans. I mean, they're into it. They're booing at a summer collegiate game. Who would have thought it? But, we've got a big crowd here tonight. Really happy with that. Wilson Motors has been an incredible sponsor over the year. And have they given you the attendance number yet?
Do you know it yet?
I don't either, but it's got to be over 2,000, by
that's what I was saying. I think we're going to have our second largest crowd of the year. Fireworks night, 3,302. I'm imagining this is over 2 at some point.
I would say for sure. On that play, Ty rushed that a little. The throw. And Ethan, made a good shot at that, but it getting away, he responded well. Good throw.
He did.
I think the umpire may have called that just a little early. I think that's probably what we had there.
I do.
A little patience there, and you never know.
Right. It did appear to me that.
What does Knight think on that? Any comment?
You thought he was safe?
Safe.
Okay.
Safe.
I get that.
Fair enough. You got it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay. No, for sure. Yeah. No, for sure. That was a close call. Tough call, but the home fans really responded. You don't see that very often, and I'd say good to see, right, Mike?
Well, absolutely, Dan. The passion for this club, they've earned it. They've created that kind of loyalty and fan base. The Knights bring in a new pitcher. We'll take a pitching change break. Dan, I know you got a million things going on as Branson Keel comes in, so I'll turn you loose.
Okay, no,
but
great.
want to thank you for
Mike.
coming by.
Yeah, appreciate everything. And go Drifters, too.
Okay.
And if Ike Olson and Kelly Richardson are listening, great owners, great future with the Springfield team. I tell you, they do it right. And Tommy Richards and Alan Embry, they're they're league treasures.
They are,
Right,
and
so-
that's the hidden gem. We saw
Yes.
some people last night who said, I'd never been to a Drifters game before. They came and told me they had a great time,
Yep.
so we look more forward to it. Thanks a
Yep.
lot, Dan.
Yep.
Dan
Nope.
Siegel joined us. So let's take a 60-second pitching change break, a 2-2 tie in the 7th. Back in 1 minute after this on the night's live stream and 1240 Joe Radio.
Number 21, Ben Newton.
Bottom of the 7th inning, Branson Keel in for Ethan Collins in a 2-2 tie. Ben Newton, the switch hitting shortstop, the batter. The dangerous Cole Kleckner, the runner at first, held on by Ethan Hedges. And the first pitch from Branson misses low, ball 1. Close bang-bang play at the plate went the Drifters' way, much to the displeasure of this big crowd. We'll get an official number here in a moment, but Dan Siegel absolutely right. A summer league Woodback collegiate game with the fans into it. It felt and sounded a little bit like had that call gone against Mitch Canham's Beavers in the spring, you would have heard a similar reaction. Mark Canham, Mitch's papa, in the house tonight amongst this great crowd. The pitch to Ben Newton from Branson misses low, ball 2, 2-0. Keel's fastball high and away, ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes in this 2-2 tie. Branson Keel out of the bullpen for the Knights. 6'2", 195-pounder from Rapid City, South Dakota. I hear James Mason saying it. 3 balls and no strikes to Ben Newton. See if he's green lighted. Keel to the plate. He wasn't taking all the way. He certainly could have offered had he wanted to. Ben takes a strike and the count 3-1. A 2-2 tie, top of the 7th inning. Branson Keel picking up for Ethan Collins. Neil Feist and Jacob Wright had preceded him. The 3-1 pitch, fastball swung out and missed. And the count goes full, 3-2, which means that Cole Kleckner, a speedy runner, will have the advantage of taking off on the pitch. 3 balls and 2 strikes with 2 down. Brooke Knight pacing in front of the Knights dugout on the third base side. Keel trying to get through the 7th. The 3-2 pitch taken low for ball 4. And so the go-ahead run now is at second base, represented by Cole
Number
Kleckner.
19, Bobby Blandford.
The Knights have held the Drifters to 2 runs, even though they've given up 8 walks in the game. That usually doesn't correlate that way, that many walks. That's an inordinate number and usually translates into more runs. Bobby Blandford, the batter, he's walked twice and fouled out. The pitch on the way, fastball at 92, misses up and away, ball 1, 1-0. The foul out, by the way, was an example of Anson Arrows' poise, athletic ability. A tweener foul ball in front of the Knights dugout on the third base side. Mason Lee and Anson coming together, and Anson just very casually, calmly at the last moment reached out with his mitt, caught it like it was no big deal, when you could tell Mason was rushing over to try to get there on time. He had a further run to make, but Anson had it all the way. Very casually brought it in. impressive play. The 1-0 pitch missing to Blandford. Ball 2, 2-0. 2 on, 2 out, a 2-2 tie in the 7th. The 2-0 pitch is outside. Ball 3, 3-0. Keel is a pitch away from loading the bases. Here in the top of the 7th of a 2-2 tie. Branson making his 10th appearance, 10 1/3, 5 hits, 2 runs, 4 walks, 12 strikeouts, a record of 1-0 and an ERA of 1.74. With the green light, 3-0, much more of that in the modern game than in seasons past. Swung on and fouled at the plate by Blandford, and the count goes to 3-1. Part of the reason major league hitters are green lighted 3-0, it's one of the few counts that they know they have a good chance of seeing a fastball 90% of the time. The 3-1 pitch on the way, fastball swung on and missed, and the count goes full to Blandford at 3-2. So major league hitters and the analytics and all of the things present in the game today and that have trickled down to the West Coast League witness the iPad that Knight brings with him to all the games. They're available, not to the same extent at the big league level, but they're here in this league. The 3-2 pitch with the runners going, lifted to center and playable. Ethan Hott moving over and back. More benign conditions now for Ethan and the outfielders. No more sun. Ethan goes back to make the catch and the inning is over. However, the Drifters do pull even with a run on a hit, an error, and 2 left. And at the end of 6 1/2, it's Springfield 2 and the Knights 2 on 1240 Joe Radio and the Knights live stream. Before the second largest crowd of the summer of 2023, 2,310. We go to the bottom of the 7th of a 2-2 tie. Bryce Armstrong delivers to Mason Lee, and Mason delivers a base hit into right center field to lead things off for the Knights here in the bottom of the 7th, trying to come right back and get the lead back. Tai Yukamoto will be the batter, and Tai is likely to bunt. Brooke Knight is going through the signs at third. Ty has struck out and flied to center. The Drifters certainly expecting Brooke Knight to call upon the short game here. And Yukamoto does bunt. He takes it with him in a perfect spot. He'll get a base hit on the drag bunt to the right of the mound. 2-4 for second baseman Ryan Cooney to get to. Beautifully done by Yukamoto. First and second, nobody out. J.C. Ing the batter, and J.C. Ing is likely to be bunting to try to set things up for Tyler Quinn. A 2-2 tie in the bottom of the 7th inning. But the Knights with a great opportunity here. First and second, nobody out. We'll see about J.C. and a possible bunt. I'm expecting it. It looks as though Jaden Shepard, the first baseman, and Cole Calnan are too. Bryce Armstrong from the stretch. J.C. does put the bunt down. Foul. And the count, no balls and 1 strike. Mason Lee back to second base. Ty Yukamoto at first. A 2-2 tie, bottom of the 7th. Nobody out, and Mason Lee getting his lead now from second. Ty Yukamoto from first. J.C. Ng likely again to be asked to move the runners. Tyler Quinn on deck. The big lefty, Bryce Armstrong, 6'4", 240, out of hot Corning, California, comes set. Showing very early, J.C. Ng. He pulls the bat back and takes low. 1 ball and 1 strike. We talk about the pleasant and even warm day with Tommy Richards heading out to the mound. The head coach for the Springfield Drifters has a right-hander in the bullpen, and I don't think he's going to make a move here so much as talk about maybe bunt coverage. Tommy is making indications to several people joining the conversation on the hill. And Jaden Shepard is kind of nodding his assent to whatever the point was that Coach Richards was making. So that may have been more of a defensive stratagem visit here. He also says something to his third baseman, Cole Kalman. So maybe a wheel play will be put on. That may have been Tommy's way to go out and communicate the particulars of how to run the wheel. We'll see. The count is 1 ball and 1 strike. J.C. Ng likely still with a bunt on in this 2-2 tie in the bottom of the 7th. Mason Lee at second, Ty Yukamoto at first, nobody out. And the 1-1 pitch with Ng showing bunt. He pulls back and takes a strike. And the count 1-2. That's a decision now for Coach Knight to make. Does he leave it on with 2 strikes? JC has flied to center, been hit by a pitch and walked. First and second, nobody out. The bunt is still on, and the bunt is down, and it's a fair ball, and the wheel play was not at work. And the throw to first by Griffin Bushnell to Jaden Shepard is in time. Runners at second and third. Cole Kalman came charging in from third. The shortstop wasn't moving over to cover, but Bushnell did look that way. Nobody home, so he went to first, and a great job by Ng to get the bunt down with 2 strikes. The sacrifice works, and the batter is Tyler Quinn in this 2-2 tie. Tyler has singled, grounded to third, and grounded to short. The Drifters with their infield halfway. Left-hander Bryce Armstrong will work from the stretch. The Knights trying to regain the lead after getting caught in the top of the inning. Quinn takes high, ball 1, 1-0. Good ball game before the second largest crowd of the summer, 2,310 on Wilson Motors night. Armstrong again ready, the 1-0 pitch, a comebacker, and getting hung up is Mason Lee between third and home. The throw to the catcher, Bushnell, is in time to get Lee for out number 2. Now, that's not good news, but a good job by Lee to stay in the rundown long enough to allow Tyler Quinn, the batter, to get to second base on the fielder's choice. And with 2 down, Ethan Hedges will try to come through as he did last night with the biggest hit of the game, namely a grand slam home run. Looking for a 2-out, 2-run single here with Yukamoto at third, Tyler Quinn at second. A 2-2 tie in the bottom of the 7th inning. What did you have on the scoring on the rundown, Knight? What do you got? Was it 1-5-2? 1-5-2. Thank you. 1-5-2 on the putout on Mason Lee. The 1-0 pitch on the way to Hedges is high, ball 2, 2-0. The switch hitting Anson Arrows on deck. But a well done play defensively for Springfield to keep the ball game tied at 2. 2 down in the inning, but the Knights still with an opportunity to get a clutch 2-out hit and regain the lead. 2-0 to Ethan Hedges, who takes down and away ball 3, 3-0. Anson Arrows, the on-deck hitter. 3 balls and no strikes. Ty Yukamoto at third. JC Tyler Quinn at second. The 3-0 pitch, a strike, and the count 3-1. This big crowd, a lot of youngsters in the house tonight. They're jumping up and down on the metal bleachers, big smiles on their faces. Ethan Hedges trying to brighten the faces even more here. He swings and it's one foul off first, heading towards the Jack Riley concourse below the Omaha room, and the count goes full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. The scene shifts back to Springfield and Hamlin Sports Complex tomorrow. 6:35 tomorrow night from Springfield. A 2-2 tie here, bottom of the 7th. Second and third, 2 down. Armstrong ready. The left-hander from the belt comes to the plate, 3-2 outside to load him up. The switch hitter, Anson Arrows, will be the batter hitting from the right side. Adley Rutschman, the switch hitting catcher, hitting 7 home runs from the right side, was, according to Bob Ryan, the game's ombudsman for the NBA, said David Halberstam many years ago of Bob Ryan. Ryan said Adley single-handedly made him interested in the home run derby again. Anson Arrows, the batter with the bases loaded. Outstanding, talented switch-hitting catcher on his own part. Trying to give the Knights the lead back, takes a strike. The count 0-1. Adley didn't get a hit. Only one Beaver player in the history of the All-Star Games ever gotten a hit. Michael Conforto in 2017. No balls and a strike. Bases loaded, 2 down. A 2-2 tie. Armstrong delivers a wild one to the backstop, and it's very close to the plate. The throw to the plate and out at the plate is Ty Yukamoto, and the inning is over. The backstop acting like a pitchback back to Bushnell, who got it to Armstrong covering. And the Knights in this 7th inning have a play at the plate called safe, allowing Springfield to tie. And now in the bottom of the 7th inning, an out at the plate, keeping the game tied at 2. Good call, and an exciting ball game continues as we go to the 8th. It remains the Drifters 2 and the Knights 2 on the Knights live stream and 1240 Joe Radio. A 2-2 tie to the top of the 8th inning. Jaden Shepard, first ball swinging, misses the first pitch. A foul, got a little piece of it. No balls and a strike. Shepard getting his first plate appearance tonight against right-hander Branson Keel. If you live or work in one of 24 Western or Central Oregon counties, you're entitled to membership privileges and the full financial services at Oregon State Credit Union. You can join at OregonStateCU.com or one of their 15 branches. Our thanks to the credit union for sponsoring our huge fireworks show on July 2nd. Shepard takes a breaking ball from Kiel high. The 1-1 curveball swung on and missed, and the count 1-2. That was our largest crowd of the year, Oregon State Credit Union Fireworks Night, 3,302. Our second largest here tonight, Wilson Motors Night, 2,310. That was a good ball game, and so is this. Another breaking ball. Shepard swings and misses. Strike 3. Branson Kiel, 3 straight breaking balls to fan Jaden Shepard, and with 1 gone in the top of the 8th inning, Ryan Cooney the batter. Ryan is struck out, grounded to third, and grounded to short in a 2-2 tie with 3 plays between third and home made, 2 outs at the plate and another in a rundown in an eventful 7th inning. In the 8th, Branson Kiel delivers, and a fastball nearly nicked Ryan Cooney, but misses inside near the belt buckle. 1 ball and no strikes. Branson works out of the stretch with nobody on. The right-hander back to the plate. Good breaking ball in there for a strike. He's thrown some good ones here in the top of the 8th inning. A 2-2 tie. The Knights winning handily in Springfield last night, 10-0. A decidedly different kind of ball game here tonight. A changeup, a line drive to right on the move. J.C. Ing moves over to make the catch. Good catch by J.C. A good read. 2 down. And Ryan Hayes, the batter. Hayes is struck out, flied to center, and then doubled in a run in the 6th inning to get Springfield on the board. Was thrown out trying to stretch the double to a triple. A well-executed relay. Levi Jones to Tai Yukamoto to Mason Lee to end the inning, but he drove in the first of the 2 runs. He breaks his bat here, swinging at a pitch under his hands. No balls and a strike. We're talking about the skullduggery and chicanery of the game of baseball, hiding baseballs, hiding bats, cork spilling out all over the field. Near the end of Pete Rose's career, he was using a lot of cork bats, and somebody asked, Pete, you're already, what's going to happen? He said, I will never swing at a pitch to break the bat. I know what pitches will break the bat. He was honest enough later to say, yeah, I was using some cork bats late, but I knew nobody would ever catch me on the field because I'd never swing at a pitch that would break my bat. And that held true. He never was caught. The strike 1 pitch on the way, unlike Albert Bell, Corky Bell. The 0-1 pitch hit foul to the right and out of play. No balls and 2 strikes to Ryan Hayes. Much of that material in the excellent book, Intentional Balk, by Corvallis' own Mark Armour, outstanding baseball writer who's been coming to a lot of Knights games this summer. Between Mark Armour and Rob Nyer, baseball literature covered well, better in the West Coast League, I dare say, than maybe any other league. The strike 2 pitch swung on and pulled foul at third base. The coach Ferrari, Rocco, makes the play. No balls and 2 strikes with 2 down and the bases empty. Under the lights, twilight time in Corvallis. The Knights and Drifters will wrap up the series tomorrow down the road in Springfield. Kiel from the stretch. The strike 2 pitch misses very high to Hayes. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count to Ryan. Plays for former Beaver Donnie Harrell. Former Beaver assistant and North Bend Hall of Famer Donnie Harrell at Seattle U. The 1-2 pitch, a comebacker, kicked away by Kiel. Picks it up, throws to first, and gets him. Nice job by Kiel. He didn't panic. He didn't rush himself. Kind of a kick save, and then with the ball rolling back towards the plate, he came off, picked up the ball, took dead aim, and threw out Hayes, who doesn't run especially swiftly. So a 1-2-3 inning, thanks to the arm and leg of Branson Kiel. Down go the Drifters in order. A new pitcher will come in for Springfield as we go to the bottom of the 8th. It remains the Drifters 2 and the Knights 2 on the Knights live stream and 1240 Joe Radio. A 2-2 tie as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. A little bit of Take Me Home Country Roads. Is it the magnum opus for John Denver? The fans seem to think so, many singing along with it. It is not the original authorized version. It's one that John did later in his life and was a little less interested in it. I'm not as much of a fan. You know the feeling, don't you? Those of you with your playlists on Spotify or wherever else, you know the difference between the original version that you grew and knew, and then the same singer singing the song, but with less conviction, less attention to detail, almost like. But by the time John re-recorded Take Me Home Country Roads, how many times did he sung it? Maybe a few too many to have everything of himself into it late. And that version we just played, an example of that. Not nearly as good as the original, but still good. Bottom of the 8th, the 2-2 tie. The right-hander, Zach Ettinger, goes to work on Anson Arrows. And Anson swings at the 0-1 pitch and grounds it into center field. Base hit. So the Knights, who had a great opportunity last inning to regain the lead, give themselves a look at maybe getting it done in the 8th against Ettinger, 6'3", 210-pounder out of Henry M. Jackson High School from Mill Creek, Washington, and attending the great program Lewis Clark State, where, by the way, Trent Sellers, who came to the Beavers from Lewis Clark State, has just signed today as an undrafted free agent. A bunt by Tate Shamau, picked up by Zach Ettinger. He throws to second baseman Ryan Cooney covering. So Tate Shamau gets the sacrifice down 4-3 against Ettinger, making his 7th appearance. He has a save, 1-2. One of his losses here, the heartbreaker on a walk-off win for the Knights, making his 7th appearance, a save, 10 innings, 7 strikeouts with just 1 walk. Tate Shamau gets the sacrifice down 1-4. Anson Arrows the go-ahead run at second. Levi Jones the batter. Levi swings and rolls one slowly right to Jaden Shepard at first base. Jaden fields and steps on the bag. 2 down. Ethan Hott the batter, and before Ethan steps in, Brooke Knight wants to talk to Hott here about the approach against Ettinger. Arrows swinging at the second pitch of the inning, a single to center field. 2 pitches later, he's at third. Now Ethan Hott to the plate. Ethan is singled, doubled, and struck out. Trying to give the Knights the lead here in the bottom of the 8th inning, with a chance then to go win it in the 9th. Ettinger will work out of the stretch with Arrows at third and 2 down in a 2-2 tie. Hott looks at a breaking ball down, ball 1, 1-0. Again, Arrows trying to drive Ettinger to distraction coming down the line from third. Zach to the plate. Hott takes a strike. Well, it wasn't a strike, evidently. And the count, 1 ball and 1 strike, or 2 balls and no strikes. I was kind of sold on the pitch being a strike, well framed by Griffin Bushnell, but no call from the home plate umpire, Tim Montoya. The 2-0 pitch is low, ball 3, 3-0. Mason Lee on deck. We'll see now about Ethan Hott getting a green light, 3-0. We'll try to get a pitch he can handle and drive in Arrows from third and give the Knights the lead back. 2-2, bottom of the 8th. The 3-0 pitch taken for a strike, and the count 3-1. Anson Arrows, a leadoff single, sacrificed to second by Tate Shamau. Went to third on the ground out by Levi Jones. And now Hott in a good hitter's count, trying to deliver the Knights the lead back. He hits one slowly to the shortstop, fielded by Ben Newton. Ben gets on top of it and throws to first, and the Knights for 2 innings in a row have not been able to parlay good action early into the go-ahead run. We go to the 9th on this Wilson Motors night. It remains the Drifters 2 and the Knights 2 on the Knights live stream in 1240 Joe Radio. Top of the 9th inning at Goss Stadium at Coleman Field, a 2-2 tie. Ethan Ross takes over on the hill for the Knights, following Jacob Wright, Neil Feist, Ethan Collins, and Branson Keel. Ethan trying to make sure it stays a 2-2 tie and give his team a chance to walk it off in the bottom of the 9th inning. The young man out of El Centro and San Jose State. Coming into the ball game in the 9th and making his 6th appearance. He started 2 ball games, 10 innings, 6 hits, 10 walks, 13 strikeouts, a record of 0-2, and an ERA of 7.20. Pitched well, though, in his last outing in a start at Cowlitz this past weekend. The Knights lost the game 1-0. The run, though, that Ethan gave up was unearned. He went 4 innings and struck out 6. So he pitched extremely well, hoping to follow that from a start out of the bullpen into another strong inning and give the Knights a chance to win this ball game before this big enthusiastic crowd in the bottom of the 9th. Ethan's first pitch to a guy that was insinuated into the drama back in the bottom of the 6th inning and has become a key player in the game, Griffin Bushnell. Griffin takes a strike. The 0-1 pitch, fastball swung on and missed. Ethan at 94 miles per hour with that fastball and is quickly ahead to Bushnell. No balls and 2 strikes. Bushnell, Cole Calnan, and Jason Shedlock, the bottom of the order for the Drifters. The strike 2 fastball, and a piece of it garnered by Bushnell to stay up there. 1-2 the count. When the Knights bat in the bottom of the 9th inning, Mason Lee, Tai Yukamoto, and J.C. Ng, 8, 9, and 1 hitters. Fastball swung on and missed. Ethan Ross blows away Griffin Bushnell in that sequence, and Cole Calnan will come to the plate. Cole is grounded to third, struck out looking, and sacrificed. A nice job by Cole to help set up the tying run in the 7th inning. We're in the 9th, a 2-2 tie. Ethan ready, the lefty to the plate. Fastball in there for a strike. 0-1 the count. Ethan just rearing back and firing, coming out of the bullpen and announcing his presence with authority. The strike 1 pitch, fastball, just missed, and the count 1-1. A well-written line by Ron Shelton, put in the mouth of Nuke Lelouch. The 1-1 pitch fouled into Urchin Alley. There haven't been many of those tonight. This one carries over our head, and the Urchins giving chase. Been very little action out there tonight. A lot of left-handed hitters in this ball game. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ethan to the plate, breaking ball in the turf, and the count 2-2. 1 out, nobody on. Top of the 9th inning in a 2-2 tie. Ross ready, the lanky lefty to the plate. Ground ball slowly to second. Shamau was pretty deep. He charges, gloves, throws, and gets Calnan. 2 down. And Jason Shedlock to the plate. There's one final thought on Beavers in All-Star games. Last night, Adley playing. Ken Forsch pitched twice 2 All-Star games in '76 and in '81. Jacoby Ellsbury played in one in 2011. Don Johnson in 1945 didn't play in a game. There was no game during World War II, wartime. The war had ended in Europe but was still going on in the Pacific Theater. So no All-Star game in 1945, but Don Johnson, a former Beaver, a National League All-Star. And Michael Conforto, the only Beaver to get a hit in an All-Star game for the Mets 6 years ago. Ethan Ross missing with the first pitch to the left-hand hitting Jason Shedlock. Ethan comes back and delivers a strike. Shedlock has walked in his last 2 plate appearances and grounded out. He swings at another good fastball. Swung on and missed. This is impressive what Ethan Ross is doing. trying to get through the inning 1-2-3 and give the Knights a chance to win it here in the bottom half. 2 outs, nobody on. The 1-2 pitch, off speed, breaking ball swung on and missed. The pitch was in the turf. The throw to first from Anson Arrows to Ethan Hedges takes care of business. Ethan Ross certainly does that. The Knights need a run to win as we go to the bottom of the ninth. After 8.5, Springfield 2, the Knights 2 on the Knights live stream and 1240 Joe Radio. Bottom of the ninth inning, a 2-2 tie. Blake Avila, who's hit 2 home runs for the Knights, tied for the team lead. Pinch hits from Mason Lee against Zach Ettinger. And the first pitch to Blake coming off the bench is in there for a strike. 0-1 the count. Ettinger ready to go as soon as Avila, who had stepped out, comes back into the box. The strike one pitch just misses. 1 ball and 1 strike to Blake Avila. Pinch hitting here in the bottom of the ninth inning. Tai Yukamoto on deck with J.C. Ing to follow. The Knights looking for a run to win it here in the bottom of the ninth inning. Avila pops one up on the left side. Third baseman Cole Calnan stays with it and makes the catch, 1 away. Tai Yukamoto to the plate. Pape Material Handling and the Knights keep you moving again this season. 1 step closer to home, working with Community Outreach, Inc. It's a local nonprofit COI dedicated to helping people lead healthy and productive lives. To learn more about this great initiative, 1 step closer to home, please visit corvallisknights.com/COI. Sam Stem, a second consecutive pinch hitter, deployed by Brooke Knight. Blake Avila popped out. Now Sam Stem, who shares the home run lead 2 with Blake Avila, steps up. Sam takes high and away, ball 1. Sam starting the night at .234, but 2 homers and a team leading 25 runs batted in. Ettinger's 1-0 pitch, a line drive towards the gap in right center field. Rounding first, on his way for 2 is Stem. The throw from Kleckner not in time. A 1-out double for Stem. He's the winning run at second. So the Knights will have a couple of chances to win it here, thanks to Sam Stem coming off the bench and ripping a double to the gap. Kleckner with his speed did a good job to cut it off and give himself a chance to make a play. Now J.C. Ing, the batter. The first pitch to J.C. swung on and missed. A big lead for Stem out at second. The throw back to second is not in time. Sam getting a little frisky with the lead and a good throw by Griffin Bushnell to Ben Newton, but Stem did scramble back. Now Bushnell will go out and visit with Zach Ettinger. Ettinger was a tough luck loser here to the Corvallis Knights on a walk-off hit by a guy that's on deck in Tyler Quinn. Bo Kearns comes shuffling out to Brooke Knight in the coaching box at third with a message of some sort for Brooke. Brooke now walks back towards the Knights dugout, I think trying to clarify just what it was that Bo was attempting to communicate. Everybody ready to go now with the winning run. Sam Stem at second base in the bottom of the ninth of a 2-2 tie. J.C. Ing with a count of no balls and one strike, looking for a base hit to win it. Zach Ettinger, the right-hander from the stretch. The strike one pitch to Ing. Taken, low and away, ball one. 1-1. Indeed, Tyler Quinn on deck. Tyler with a game-winning hit against Ettinger here a couple of weeks ago at Goss Stadium at Coleman Field. But Eng would like to earn that to plot it himself right here. With Stem at second, one out, a 2-2 tie, bottom of the ninth inning. Ettinger to the plate. Quinn a cue ball past Brooke Knight in the third base coaching box. And the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes to Ing. Sam Stem with a sweet swing. A leg double into second. Breeze is blowing out towards left center. Ing looking for a hole and a win. Breaking ball hit on one hop to the second baseman Ryan Cooney. Cooney throws to first for the out. 2 down in the bottom of the ninth inning, and Tyler Quinn, the batter. Rather amazing that it could come down again to this matchup. Here, go. Knight Uretsky was here calling that game. The Knights rallied to beat Zach Ettinger. Quinn had a big part in the game, now trying to win it here. He had the tying run. What was the date on that ball game night? The pitch on the way to Quinn trying to win it. Breaking ball drops in for a strike, and the count 0-1. Tyler has singled, grounded to third, grounded to short, been aboard on a fielder's choice. The winning run, Sam Stem, 90 feet away. Back on June 27th, right here. The 1-0 pitch, or strike one pitch, a breaking ball just misses, and the count 1-1. Quinn trying to win it right here for the Knights with Sam Stem at third base and 2 down in a 2-2 tie. Bottom of the ninth inning. Ettinger from the stretch. Delivers. Waved at and missed on a good breaking ball. And the count 1-2 to Quinn. Tyler Quinn behind the count 1-2. Sam Stem, the winning run 90 feet away in the bottom of the ninth inning. Zach Ettinger works out of the stretch, trying to send this to the 10th inning. The 1-2 pitch, he does. Swung on and missed, strike 3. We go to the 10th. Clutch pitching all night long for the Springfield Drifters, and the Knights have had a good night on the mound as well. The score reflects it. So, the Knights were trying to send this big crowd home with a thrilling memory of a walk-off win. Instead, we go to the 10th. Springfield 2, the Knights 2 after 9 on the Knights live stream and 1240 Joe Radio. The Knights had a pretty good look to win it in the bottom of the 9th inning, leave the winning run 90 feet away, and now right-hander Max DeBeck, after a strong inning by Ethan Ross. DeBeck making his 10th appearance, 16 2/3 innings, 5 hits, 11 walks, 19 strikeouts, an 0-1 record, an ERA of 2.16. Big Max into the ballgame for the Knights in the top of the 10th, the 6'6", 220-pound right-hander in the portal. By the way, Tyree Reed entered the transfer portal earlier today. Tyree never did play in a game for the Beavers, and whether he does, I mean, who knows what may be out there, but I think he's going to be moving on. Just could never get healthy enough to get on the field, and certainly he'll be missed from the standpoint of being a good kid, hard-working young man, but never could get through the injuries, and will be moving on from Oregon State. Max DeBeck, not quite sure where he will end up, but it'll be someplace where the program that gets him will be very grateful. First pitch from DeBeck misses low here in the top of the 10th. The 1-0 pitch inside, ball 2, 2-0 to Cole Kleckner. This is the best opportunity for Springfield. A 2-2 tie, 2 balls and no strikes in terms of the speedster Kleckner trying to get on base. The 2-0 pitch, and he rips one to right. J.C. Ing moves back, or pardon me, going back to get it. And making the catch is Sam Stem, who stays in the game and plays right field. Boy, that was a good swing on Kleckner's part, but there's kind of a crosswind going from right to left, and so one away, a well-struck ball. Sam Stem now in right, with J.C. Ing moving over to left field. Blake Avila at first base. The pitch to Ben Newton misses for ball 1, 1-0. A 2-2 tie in the top of the 10th. DeBeck's 1-0 pitch. Fastball swung on and missed, and the count 1-1 to the switch hitting Ben Newton in this 2-2 tie. So for the Knights in the 10th, a battery of Max DeBeck and Anson Arrows. Big Max peering in to Anson. Rocks, kicks, and comes to the plate. A high pop-up on the left side in foul territory, playable for the Knights' third baseman Levi Jones, who makes the catch in foul grounds. 2 down, and Bobby, the right fielder, Bobby Blanford, the batter. 2 outs, nobody on. Blake Avila at first base for the Knights. Tate Shamau at second. Phoenix Call in the ball game at short with Levi Jones at third. J.C. Ing in left, Ethan Hott in center, and Sam Stem in right. Max's first pitch missing to Blanford. Max comes back with a fastball at 91 in there for a strike, and the count 1-1. Ethan Ross was hitting 94 with consistency last inning. A 2-2 tie in the top of the 10th. 2 outs, nobody on. DeBeck ready, back to the plate, breaking ball low, ball 2, 2-1. Jaden Shepard on deck. In the bottom of the inning, Ethan Hedges, Anson Arrows, and we'll have to see about a hitter, Tate Shamau, pardon me. Those are the hitters still accounted for in the Knights lineup in the bottom of the 10th inning. The 2-1 pitch missing for ball 3, 3-1 to Blanford. Max back to the plate. The 3-1 pitch is outside, so the door slightly ajar for Springfield here in the 10th with a go-ahead run to first base. Now, a hitter is coming up for the Drifters. It'll be Joe Longo pinch hitting for Jaden Shepard here in the top of the 10th inning. Longo, a long way from home, out of Michigan. in Apple Valley, Minnesota, hitting a .197 with 7 runs batted in. Longo gets the opportunity now as a pinch hitter against Max DeBeck here in the top of the 10th inning of a 2-2 tie. Blandford, the go-ahead run at first, held on by Blake Avila. Max from the stretch into the plate. A ground ball to the left of Shamau. A long way to go. He gets it and throws to first in time for the out to retire the side. The Knights bullpen continues to do its job, and now the Knights have another opportunity to score a run and win it as we go to the bottom of the 10th inning. It remains Springfield 2, the Knights 2, with a new pitcher coming in for the Drifters on the Knights live stream and 1240 Joe Radio. Bottom of the 10th inning at Goss Stadium at Coleman Field. Right-hander Eli Holbert will try to send this to the 11th. Big right-hander in this 2-2 tie in the bottom of the 10th inning. Mike Parker alongside Knight Uretsky, the voice of the Drifters. Knight, you were telling me a story I could hardly believe, and that this is only your second extra inning game of the summer. The other one, an absolute bizarre story. What happened in Portland?
Well, back in, I think it was mid-June at this point, the Springfield Drifters played a 12-inning game against the Portland Pickles. The game lasted over 5 hours. At midnight, they got an extension to keep the lights up at Walker Stadium all the way up until 12:15, but they forgot that the water comes on at midnight, so the sprinklers were spraying everybody on the field. Cole Callanan, who's actually the third baseman today, was pitching on the mound, and at 12:15, he goes to wind, and as he throws, the lights go out. And Springfield has yet to finish that 12-inning game. And it's actually the same umpiring crew here today as in that 12-inning game, Tim Montoya and Clint Baxter.
Lights go out, sprinklers come on, and the lights go out again while Cole was in the middle of a pitch. That's crazy. Here's a hard-throwing right-hander, Eli Holbert, 96-mile-per-hour fastball to Ethan Hedges, misses high as we go to the bottom of the 10th. Want to know the count. Have you been seeing Eli bring it like that all summer?
Absolutely, and he was a Drifter last season as well. He's been a great pitcher for Springfield.
His 1-0 pitch fouled by Phoenix Call, pardon me. Phoenix Call leading things off for the Knights here in the bottom of the 10th inning of a 2-2 tie.
And we talked a lot about that 2-3 loss for Springfield, the 3-2 walk-off win for Corvallis. Well, Eli Holbert was actually the starter of that game.
Don't know why your mic disappeared in the middle of that sentence. We'll try to make sure it stays hot. With Phoenix Call leading things off for the Knights in the bottom of the 10th of a 2-2 tie. time called just as Holbert was ready to go. Test it again. Are you there with me, Knight?
Let's see. Yeah, it
there we
sounds
go.
like I'm back. But he actually got the start in that game. He pitched excellently against Corvallis. Pitched 6 innings, allowed just 1 earned run on 4 hits, and had 6 strikeouts. He was only limited to 2 starts this season, and that was one of them. The Drifters were hoping to pull off a victory. They were unable to, as the Knights walked it off.
And Phoenix Call was a big part of it, scoring a controversial run, a tying run in that game before Tyler Quinn ended up scoring the winning run on the base hit by Ethan Hott. Breaking ball to Phoenix, misses ball 2, 2-1. A 2-2 tie, bottom of the 10th. Eli Holbert from the stretch. The big righty to the plate and misses. Low, ball 3, 3-1. How has the control been for the big fella?
That's been the big thing about him. He's pumping 95, 96 miles per hour, and when he's connecting with the zone, he's excellent. When he's not, then he struggles, and so far this season, he's done a good job. Just 5 walks to 13 strikeouts, but nonetheless, right here, a little bit of a shaky start.
3-1 to call, opening matters for the Knights in the bottom of the 10th. The 3-1 fastball, high, ball 4, and the Knights have the winning run on base to open the bottom of the 10th inning. Phoenix down to first. Anson Arrows makes his way to the plate.
43, Anson Arrows.
And Arrows, a switch hitter, has a look at Brooke Knight. Brooke's been playing the short game, and the Knights have executed it very well. But Arrows with a potent bat, he doubled home a run into the alley earlier to give the Knights a lead in the first. So I'm not convinced that Arrows is bunting here. Call runs well, we'll see. Holbert from the stretch in this 2-2 tie. Anson is bunting, takes the fastball high, ball 1, 1-0. Good ball game before 2,310. The crowd has thinned a little bit as we play on at 20 minutes past 9. A much different kind of game tonight than last night. The Knights winning in a laugher 10-0. A 2-2 tie here in the bottom of the 10th. Call the winning run at first, nobody out. Arrow shows bunt, pulls back and takes inside. Ball 2, 2-0. Tate Shamau, the on-deck hitter. Arrows looks at Brooke Knight. A 2-0 count will sometimes lead coaches and managers calling an offensive game to take it off. Shortstop Ben Newton in for a word with his teammate, big right-hander Eli Holbert. 2 balls and a strike. The youngsters getting into it. You can hear them pounding their feet on the metal bleachers to our right of our vantage point, having fun and maybe, just maybe trying to inspire Anson Arrows and the Knights a little bit too, but they're enjoying just stomping their feet. The 2-0 pitch. Arrows bunts up along first. Nice play by Holbert to get to the ball, and he shovels to first to get the out on Arrows. Anson comes away, pumping his fist, getting the job done on the sacrifice 1-3, but Knight, that was an impressive display of athleticism on Holbert's part there.
I mean, 6'4", 240 pounds. Not the smallest pitcher out there, but, he can move. He's always shown the ability to get around, and he's been a good fielding pitcher as well.
Tate Shamau and Levi Jones, the next 2 hitters for the Knights. A couple of guys trying to win it. The first pitch to Tate, fastball at 95 in there for a strike, 0-1 the count. Tate has flied to left, grounded to short, walked and sacrificed. Phoenix Call, the winning run at second in the bottom of the 10th inning of a 2-2 tie. As we settle things in the West Coast League, the old-fashioned way, the right way. No ghost runner. The Knights had to move him over to second on the bunt, and that's where Phoenix Call is now. The pitch is a line drive, base hit to right center field. Kleckner comes up throwing. Phoenix Call to the plate, the throw is high. Cole scores, and the Knights win it 3-2 on the walk-off base hit by Tate Shamau. Tate Shamau has just worked his way into our Washington Park Advisors Player of the Game with a walk-off hit. He had a 2-run home run last night, so it's not necessarily a Lifetime Achievement Award, but Tate is the Player of the Game with his walk-off base hit off a big right-hander, Eli Holbert. And it's the walk that does Eli Holbert in. He's had pretty good control this year, but he walked the leadoff hitter in the bottom of the 10th. The Knights played the short game and sacrificed him over through Anson Arrows. And then Tate Shamau got on a fastball and drove it into right center. And the Knights win in a thrilling walk-off before 2,310 in 10 innings, 3-2. Knight, it was a good ball game. Another tough, heartbreaking defeat for you guys. We've got another one tomorrow night. We'll see you down in Springfield at Hamlin Sports Complex at 6:35. Thanks for your great work and for coming up, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Looking forward to seeing you back at Hamlin Sports Complex tomorrow, and excited for another great baseball game.
That was a good one tonight, no question. Thanks to Knight, thanks to Casey Lavin, to Thomas Rudolph, to Garrett Dworshak, our crew. This is Mike Parker thanking you for joining us here at Goss Stadium at Coleman Field, where Tate Shamau walks him off with a base hit to right center to score a Phoenix call. The Knights 3 and the Drifters 2. We'll talk to you tomorrow night in Springfield on the Knights live stream and 1240 Joe Radio. So long, everybody.